Good morning, Manitoba. It is Thursday, June 19th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for being with us. Ainsley McPhail is live at Assiniboine Park this morning. She's going to tell us about all the fun activities that are planned there this summer. She's going to take us to the zoo to start off and show us some of the baby animals, as well as tell us about some of the fun programming happening there, some of the cool things that you'll want to take your kids to. But first, your headlines. Life-threatening injuries, no clear motive, and a student still in custody. What the victim of a shocking sword attack is revealing for the first time. Canada and India renew diplomatic ties, but CSIS warns foreign interference from India remains a threat. And when thousands of kites take over an island, you know it's a party in the skies. Bringing in Terry now. It was a party in the skies yesterday. A little bit of everything. Some sun, a little bit of rain, some wind. It wasn't a bad day.
You're right. There was a little bit of everything. I got a little bit of shower activity off and on at times, and yeah, I made a drive up to Gimli yesterday, and the folks that I ran into there, they're like, Terry, you said it was going to rain, and sure enough, when I got to Gimli, it was beautiful, but there was rain on my way. I had to point that out. Anyway, now we're looking at some extra clouds hanging around this morning, but they'll be clearing as the day goes on. 13 degrees right now with northeast winds, 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, humidity sitting at 84%. And that bit of precipitation, you can still see it kind of lingering in areas surrounding us. I don't think we're going to be seeing much in the way of showers this morning. Obviously, some places might, especially just a little bit to the south of us, but these clouds will continue to clear as the day goes on. So clearing today will take us to a high of 24 degrees. That's pretty much bang on what you would expect for this time of year. Nothing wrong with where these temperatures are going to be reaching. The winds, you can probably notice a little bit of a smoky smell to the air this morning. I certainly can. Well, we're dealing with north winds this morning, but they'll be shifting into the afternoon out of the south, and we might then notice some improvements with that air quality. I will mention that there are no warnings or even advisories in place regarding the smoke, so there's just a bit of an aroma to it. There is the possibility of some showers or thunderstorms overnight as we drop down to 15 degrees. Winds will be out of the east by then, but still remaining on the lighter side. A mix of sun and cloud then expected for tomorrow, again 23 degrees. As far as the weekend goes, it will be a warm one. 27 for Saturday. Chance of that precipitation still expected on Sunday, and with it some slightly cooler temperatures that'll continue through the week.
Thank you, Terry. Police are calling it a senseless act of violence within the halls of a Manitoba high school. As we've previously reported, police say a student wielding a sword attacked another student last week at Neelan High School in Brandon, leaving him with life-threatening injuries. Now we're hearing directly from the victim. And a warning, some of what you are about to hear is disturbing. CTV's Danton Unger reports.
Most of the tendons are cut. That's why I have all these things on as they heal. 15-year-old Chinoso Onuke is at home recovering with what police describe as life-altering injuries after a terrifying attack. The whole thing happened so fast you would think it's a dream. It happened here at the Neelan High School in Brandon on June 10th. Onuke, a grade 10 student at the school, says he was walking down the hallway during lunch when he saw someone. I see a guy by there who was walking down the hallway in a black witch doctor mask, like I think a black bucket hat or something like that, and black trench coat. I look at him and I'm like, yo, this is kind of weird. This is Halloween or something. He says he made a joke and then turned to walk away, but something made him turn around. So I look back and he's pulling out a sword. Like, if you looked at it, it was like this. It was big. And that is when the brutal attack began. Before I can even think, he lunges at me like, gets the first one in my abdomen or my leg. I don't know which one. Onuke says he fell to the ground as the attacker continued slashing and stabbing his leg, shoulder, and chest. It was all action, zero thought. He says he managed to grab the blade, slicing 7 of his fingers in the process. He tries to pull it. I don't let go. Then I push it away, and I just book it to the office. Brandon police say another student called the school's resource officer, and within minutes, police arrived at the school, finding a 16-year-old student with a sword. Police say he was tasered and arrested and is now facing charges including attempted murder. The quick thinking and the response of the student who called our school resource officer saved the day at the end of the day and prevented what would have been additional bloodshed. Onuke required emergency surgery in Winnipeg, and he says when he woke up in hospital, he didn't believe what had happened to him. I was just there, kind of like wondering, yo, did it actually happen or am I just dreaming? And then I looked down at my hands like, oh, did it actually happen? Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Shinozo Onuke returned to school just days after the attack. In the aftermath, Shinozo says he doesn't even think he's traumatized, though he did tell us sometimes people don't know they are traumatized when they actually are. Meanwhile, police have not yet identified a motive for the attack. Along with attempted murder, the student has been charged with uttering threats, possessing a weapon for a dangerous purpose, and disguise with intent. Those charges have not been proven in court, and Brandon police confirm as of Wednesday the student remains in custody. Police say the Crown Attorney's office is now reviewing the evidence and will determine if any further charges are warranted. Bob Harrison, the lawyer of the accused, confirmed a provincial judge in Brandon has ordered a forensic assessment to determine if his client is suffering from any psychological or mental health disorders. A report from Canada's spy agency says Canada still faces threats of foreign interference from India. This has raised questions about the decision to renew diplomatic ties.
Until there's accountability and a commitment to actually work with Canadian law enforcement with these ongoing investigations and not to do it anymore, I think any dialogue is premature.
The report from CSIS lists India, along with Russia, China, and Iran, as sources of foreign interference. This came out just a day after Ottawa and India announced a move to restore top diplomats in both countries. The report also calls links between India's government and the murder of Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar a clear intent to target individuals in North America. Ottawa's public safety minister says difficult conversations with India's government will continue. Another wave of strikes from Iran has caused heavy damage to a hospital in southern Israel. Iran claims the target of the strike was a military site near the Soroka hospital. Officials in Israel say at least one missile did hit the hospital and the damage is extensive. There were also reports of strikes in Tel Aviv and other locations in Israel, with at least 65 people said to be hurt across the country. Meanwhile, Israel launched more strikes on Iran's nuclear program. One of the targets was the inactive Arock heavy water reactor. This is all happening as the U.S. continues to weigh its options.
I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. The next week is going to be very big, maybe less than a week.
U.S. President Donald Trump has reportedly approved an attack plan for Iran, but he's said to be holding off on the green light as he calls for Iran's unconditional surrender. U.S. lawmakers are demanding President Trump seek approval from Congress before taking military action. Hurricane Eric is now a Category 4 storm approaching Mexico's Pacific coast. People in Mexico have been boarding up homes and businesses while stocking up supplies as they brace for landfall. That's expected to happen this morning. Mexico's president is warning people to stay inside and pay attention to official communications. Hurricane Eric is threatening to bring destructive winds, flash floods, and dangerous storm surge. The storm is expected to be the first hurricane to make landfall in Mexico this season. It's about as much fun as 5,000 enthusiasts can have with strings attached. People from 26 countries gathered on a Danish island to mark the 40th anniversary of a kite festival. The windswept display of color and creativity will feature more than 25,000 kites. It's beautiful. Here's a look at what's happening on the Norwood Bridge. Things are moving well to start off this Thursday morning. If you see any issues out on the streets, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at Assiniboine Park this morning. There's so much going on there this summer. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Michelle. Yeah, tons of programming running right until September. We want to show you some of the newer stuff, including the animals. The Shire horses, and I'm going to steal this from cameraman Scott, are acting a little bit shyer than usual because they were just in the frame and suddenly they've kind of waltzed on away, but that's okay. There's wolves as well, an owl, and so much more if you come to the zoo. Also, dinosaurs uncovered. Nearly 20 animatronic dinosaurs. So if you have a kid at home who really enjoys them, there's an indoor exhibition to it as well. We're also going to be meeting some animals today who are of the slower variety. This is called Survival of the Slowest. So I might be holding a turtle come the 7 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere for that. Such a great place to be and explore. It's a beautiful morning today. We'll see you again at 6:37.
It certainly does look beautiful there, Ainsley. Thank you. Let's go out to the rooftop now. Terry, for your Thursday morning cuteness, here's a feathered flock that's gobbling up the spotlight. Every time the trumpet sounds, the turkeys sing in unison. The gobbling group adds to the music while making the musician laugh after every note. Oh my gosh. That is fun. See, you need a trumpet every morning.
I'll just pretend one plays.
Oh my gosh.
What's that?
How's it feeling out there, Terry?
Gorgeous. It really is. A beautiful start to the morning. Just a slight bit of a breeze. That breeze this morning out of the north, but that'll be shifting out of the south later today. I was saying you could smell a little bit of that smokiness in the air, but with a shift in the winds, we might notice some improvements. Seeing some sunshine out here right now. A few extra clouds, don't get me wrong. It's not completely clear, but it might be later today with these clouds expected to move on out of the way as these temperatures continue to climb. We're starting out slightly above seasonal at 14 degrees with those northeast winds 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity is sitting at 84%. So clearing and increasing amounts of sunshine as a result, and hopefully some increasing air quality or improving air quality as that smell of smoke perhaps dissipates somewhat or disappears altogether. There are no warnings regarding the smoke, not in Manitoba, not even in northwestern Ontario where they were still lingering yesterday. So completely in the clear as far as those air quality warnings go, and perhaps even another bit of precipitation to come. There's a chance that there's going to be more showers or thunderstorms overnight, but throughout the day today, just plenty of sunshine. That goes for northern Manitoba as well, and some mid-20 temperatures, so it's going to be a warm one, only getting hotter as we're moving ahead to the weekend. Taking a break, we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
The ongoing U.S.-Canada trade dispute has small business owners concerned for their summer season.
For many small businesses, the summer months are their busiest time of year.
A Canadian Federation of Independent Business poll finds businesses are split on whether summer revenue will remain the same or will go higher or lower. But 37% of those surveyed say they've noticed changes in tourist behavior.
With the ongoing trade dispute, we know for a fact businesses are telling us they've already seen a shift in bookings. They've seen an uptick in bookings from Canadians, but unfortunately, they've seen a drop off in bookings from people from the U.S.
The CFIB says that compounded with the wildfire situation, inflation, and low consumer demand is adding to their stress. To help the tourism industry, it's urging the governments to reduce permit and licensing requirements, promote buying local and vacationing in Canada. CFIB says 66 cents of every dollar spent locally stays here versus 11 cents at multinational companies. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is meeting today with 40 First Nation chiefs at Queen's Park to discuss Bill 5, but the Premier is facing backlash for these comments.
This is like handing an opportunity on a silver platter to First Nations that by the way, I have treated like gold. But there's going to be a point that you can't just keep coming hat in hand all the time to the government. You got to be able to take care of yourselves.
Chiefs of Ontario released a statement in response to the comments made. It said, quote, Ford alleges that First Nations come hat in hand. We don't. Some chiefs have expressed outrage over the bill. The bill gives the cabinet power to suspend provincial and municipal laws for specific projects through the creation of special economic zones. Premier Ford has said the mineral-rich region in northern Ontario will be declared the first zone under the new legislation. He's also said First Nation treaty rights will be respected. The government is expected to consult with First Nations through a series of meetings this summer. A W5 investigation is shedding light on how some employees of Service Ontario, the agency that registers cars in that province, are helping thieves steal cars. W5's John Woodward reveals how criminals working in provincial licensing systems might be a problem right across Canada.
This is surveillance video of a driveway east of Toronto in 2021. It's almost 2 a.m. You can see the 5 men climb the stairs of the home. They demand a resident's car keys and fire a gun into the ground. They made off with a $400,000 Bentley in the driveway. The hunt for the thieves led investigators to a company here in Sudbury, Ontario. That business was registering cars, even though an OPP report filed in court said officers concluded this business does not exist. Some of those cars discovered on this lot just north of Toronto, belonging to another company called Prexco. Visitors weren't exactly welcome, but we went there anyway, looking for Prexco's director, Eric Johnson.
We're looking for Eric Johnson?
We got someone on the phone, but he didn't have much to say.
Okay, listen, man, I don't have time for this.
After the police visited the same property in 2022, recording this video, they accused Johnson of being the mastermind of a scheme to disguise stolen cars from Land Rovers to Porsches, changing their unique vehicle identification numbers so he could sell them. And he had help. Police believed he was working with a clerk at this Brampton Service Ontario, someone he called My Girl in wiretaps, who bragged she could stop toll highway bills from ever making it to the driver.
Let's say, for example, you're on 407, you don't pay the bills, and they'll never come back to you.
The clerk, a woman named Tanisha Baird. Among the vehicles she registered with Johnson was one for her to drive, an Audi Q3 SUV that was worth about $46,000 new. She paid just $162 in fees. It was the vehicle she was driving when she was arrested. She and Johnson convicted in March, with a judge describing her as a car thief too. We caught up with Johnson himself outside the Brampton courthouse.
Mr. Johnson. John Woodward from CTV. We just stay back. Yeah, we can stay back. That's fine. We just wanted to see if Mr. Johnson had anything to say for himself. We just wanted to see if he had anything to say, Mr. Johnson, about what's happening. Are you a car thief, sir?
No, your mama is.
Investigators are exploring whether someone on the inside, like Baird, arranged paperwork for any possibly stolen vehicles at a Scarborough dealership, whose salespeople are also facing charges. Cases like this, where a criminal uses someone on the inside of a government agency, could be happening a lot more than we know, said Mike Fair, who used to work for the Edmonton Police's Alert Car Theft Unit.
How widespread is something like that across the country?
I would say that it's all across the country.
What tells you that?
We have stolen vehicles that travel across the country continually. It's mobile.
Ontario's Minister of Transportation says his province has introduced changes that he hopes will make it harder for anyone to illegally re-VIN a car.
For us, it's about making sure that we punish those who do take part in this, create deterrences through legislation.
Johnson and Baird are awaiting sentencing, the judge saying their crimes provide the financial incentive for the violence in thefts like this.
Bridge, things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about. If you see any problems out there on the streets, please let us know.
CTV Morning Live Traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
It's a beautiful start to your morning. We're looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. A few darker clouds looking off in the distance there, and the satellite image, which I'll show you in a second. You can see some lingering precipitation in some places. I don't think we're going to be seeing much of that in Winnipeg. We are, though, waking up to slightly above seasonal temperatures. 14 degrees at the moment here in Winnipeg, Pinawa, Sprague, Gimli as well. Everybody's at least in the double digits, but just for a reference point, 11 degrees is a seasonal low, and we've got Roblin and Melita coming in just below that. Actually, I think now we just, as of today, 12 degrees is a seasonal low. So that's where Brandon is this morning. Moving up into northern Manitoba, we've got Thompson at the freezing mark. Now, last hour, Thompson was at -1. You will be making some gains today. Plenty of sunshine is expected across northern Manitoba. Headed up into the high teens. It'll be a warmer day today than it was yesterday throughout the north. Here's that satellite image I was talking about, and you can see the precipitation kind of rolling through here in the south with those extra clouds just starting to move now off to the east of us. Some scattered showers are possible through the morning hours, but then again later on into the evening time, just ahead of some possible showers or thunderstorms overnight. Most of the daytime, though, will be on the sunnier side. 18 degrees by 8 a.m. when we're sending kids off to school, and 24 by the time they're coming home again, which is a normal daytime high. That chance of showers is there overnight. We're feeling the heat tomorrow, though, as the sky clears out. We're back to the sunshine with above seasonal temperatures rolling into the start of the weekend. Coming out of the weekend, it cools down with a round of showers on Sunday, and then you can see those slightly below seasonal seasonal temperatures, but only for a few days next week. And it made for a very cool photo out there after the rain passed through Notre Dame de Lourdes and the rainbow over the farm equipment there. Very cool. Thanks for the capture, Diane. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.
CTV Morning Live School Day Forecast is brought to you by Rainbow Stage, your season to sing.
Good morning. The movie known as the world's first summer blockbuster is about to turn 50 years old, and the impact of Steven Spielberg's Jaws goes beyond the world of cinema into our oceans. CTV's Brianne Foley has more on how the movie is still shaping how we see sharks today.
The two most terrifying notes in cinematic history.
And the thing about it that is so beautiful is that it's simple, but it's menacing. Those two notes became synonymous with danger coming your way.
Steven Spielberg's Jaws turns 50 on Friday, and the fascination with the great white hasn't faded.
The beauty of Jaws in terms of making the shark the villain of the piece is that they don't really show the shark very much. Our imaginations always overreact to what we're seeing or not seeing on screen.
Jaws has been monumental for sharks in a couple different ways. Either people have been completely terrified by sharks and it has kind of ruined their reputation, or it's had the opposite effect. It has created this like complete interest and fascination with sharks.
For marine ecologist Neil Hammerschlag, that fascination turned into a mission.
The idea that they're, man-eating machines is completely opposite of what sharks are. They rarely interact with people. They prefer to have nothing to do with people, and shark bite is extremely rare.
Last year, he launched Atlantic shark expeditions for research and education.
If we want to conserve sharks, is to kind of demystify them and also take away that stigma of them as dangerous, mindless killers, but in fact they are smart, curious, and these incredible animals that benefit the health of our oceans.
And while our knowledge of the majestic sea beast grows, Jaws still has its teeth in our dreams and nightmares.
As it is, it remains the great kind of unknowable evil in that film, and so when it does make an appearance, it's truly shocking.
Interestingly, a lot of my colleagues who are shark researchers say that their favorite movie was Jaws, and it helped inspire them to want to be a marine biologist like Matt Hooper in the movie.
Happy 50th birthday to one of the most iconic monsters to ever swim onto the big screen. Brianne Foley, CTV News, Halifax.
Coming up, we're live at Assiniboine Park this morning. We're going to tell you what's happening at the zoo this summer and why you want to take the whole family. Stay with us.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
There's a look outside this morning. A few extra clouds lingering, but they won't be lasting through the day. We'll see things clearing throughout. It's 14 degrees right now with northeast winds 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 84%. Those few extra clouds this morning, well, there they are on the satellite image right now, bringing a little bit of shower activity. You can see it's looking far more active, though, just across that eastern border through parts of northwestern Ontario. Clear through northern Manitoba. It'll likely stay that way today. How come this one came up again? Sorry, I didn't mean to do this one. Anyway, we'll do this one again. Stay tuned. I'm obviously hitting the wrong button and I don't know what's going on. 24 degrees and clearing through the day today with south winds at about 15 kilometers per hour. Overnight, there is the possibility of some thunderstorms. Then back up to a hot one tomorrow, 28 degrees. We've got a mix of sun and cloud. Now again tomorrow night, the possibility of some showers or thunderstorms, but it should be clearing out. So for the most part, the activity that we're looking at as far as precipitation goes is in the evening overnight hours, and then daytimes we're enjoying some sunshine. The exception to that might be on Sunday when some dayside showers or thunderstorms hit. I mentioned the heat that we'll be feeling for tomorrow and up to Saturday, but then it's going to cool down a little bit. With those showers on Sunday, we've got some below seasonal temperatures, and they're actually going to be lasting for a few days into the middle of next week.
Thank you, Terry. A Manitoba First Nation is asking members not to return home even though their wildfire evacuation order was lifted. To task Musqueam Cree Nation, also known as Split Lake, was evacuated late last month as an out-of-control wildfire burned only a kilometer away, causing the community to lose power. The evacuation order was initially lifted Monday. However, Chief and Council posted on Facebook water quality tests showed high levels of aluminum because the water treatment plant was no longer functioning. The First Nation is now in talks with Indigenous Services Canada and Health Canada to clean the pipes and reservoir. Water samples will then need to be taken and analyzed before residents may return. Have you had a near miss with a car while walking or biking in Winnipeg? If you answered yes, you're not alone. A new report from CAA shows a shocking number of cyclists and pedestrians have experienced close calls with vehicles. With more on the new data, here's CTV's Jeff Keel.
This car can be seen brushing by two people, and here a driver speeds by a pedestrian at a crosswalk. CAA says these close calls are all too common.
CAA's report, it's sobering, it's shocking.
In an effort to improve road safety for all users, CAA monitored 20 intersections across Canadian cities, including Winnipeg. Over 7 months, it recorded close to 617,000 conflicts between pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles. That means 1 out of every 770 pedestrians and 1 in every 500 cyclists experienced a high risk or critical near miss with a vehicle.
So if they would have actually happened and if they would have been a collision, they could have resulted in serious injury or death.
The study found left and right-hand turns posed the worst near misses, followed by through traffic.
People will pull out really fast and then just turn.
See more than one bike a day hit a car.
CAA says to reduce these near misses, cities could add separated right turning lanes, which slows down drivers, as well as giving left turning vehicles a dedicated green light before bikes and pedestrians. Another recommendation is installing leading signals, giving pedestrians a 5-second head start into an intersection, which the city of Winnipeg recently did downtown.
That helps because, the car's not like, okay, and then they're all mad because you're still walking across the street.
The city has restrictions on some right turns, and Public Works Committee Chair Janice Luke says they're also eyeing something similar for left turns.
We're doing a lot of traffic calming. We're looking at reducing, I'm looking at reducing the speed in residential neighborhoods. The city's done a pilot on it.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg's St. Matthews and Wall Street was reviewed using an existing traffic count camera. CAA says this location was chosen because of the technological capabilities and not based on collision data. Councillor Janice Luke says the city brought forward a road safety strategy 3 years ago, and it is working on 67 action items. A controversial development proposed in a rural community north of Winnipeg has been approved. The Red River Planning District voted in favor of a subdivision application for a proposed gated community in the RM of St. Andrews. A developer can begin work to subdivide a 20-acre parcel of land into 76 lots with a new road. Some residents say they are concerned the homes would put a strain on the water supply, existing infrastructure, and community services. To address those concerns, the RM of St. Andrews added 17 conditions to the application before approving it in May. That plan was approved by the RRPD Thursday night.
It's a supply and demand type of market where people are looking for this type of thing and looking for homes for first-time buyers or people that want to stay in St. Andrews but don't want large 4-acre lots.
St. Andrews CAO says the province needs to approve the water supply plan. However, the developer can now get to work addressing the district's conditions. A new fire paramedic station is now open for service in Windsor Park. Station 9 on Autumnwood Drive was officially commissioned earlier yesterday. It consolidates Station 15 at the same address and Station 9 on Marion Street. Officials say this will improve response efficiency. The new station has 5 bays and houses a fire engine, ambulance, rescue unit, hazardous materials team, associated crews, and the fire investigator. It also includes an air refill station and training room.
With more crews stationed here, it creates great opportunities for ongoing training and teamwork.
The design also includes a first for a city building, geothermal heat pumps for heating and cooling. A 98% reduction in emissions is expected with the building's new green considerations. The final cost of the station was $16 million. The new building was constructed on the same site as the old Etienne Gaboudi designed Windsor Park fire station, which was demolished. Here's a look now at Osborne Street. Looks like traffic volumes are still quite light. Starting off this morning, no issues to tell you about at this point. And a look now at your gas prices in Winnipeg. It's sitting below the national average. Today, the city's average is just over $1.33. Across Manitoba, the average is about $1.32, while the national average is slightly higher at around $1.38.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live this morning at Assiniboine Park. You're visiting the zoo this morning. So much going on there this summer when the kids are just about ready, done school. Good morning.
Good morning. It's absolutely perfect for that, Rochelle, especially when you're curious like me, poking into all of the different displays and cages. Danny Wenger joins us now to explain what the new animals are, or who I should say, because they do have names. I won't ask you to list every single one, but what comes to mind when I say, what are some of the new animals here?
Absolutely. So our biggest one right now, we had a little while ago, our new wolves. We have a new pack of wolves that came from Vancouver. But yes, as you said, there's a whole list of new animals we've had since around like October, November. We have new red pandas. We've got new guanacos. We have a new muskox. We have so many wonderful new animals. I was looking at the list of the different areas in the zoo, and like besides Aunt Sally's and Kinsman Discovery Center, we have at least one new animal in every area of the zoo. Wow. Like, it has just been such a wonderful time to come explore, because if you haven't been here in a while, you know, you're seeing the similar animals, come on down to the here this summer, because there's gonna be so many new animals to come and see and discover for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And some of the animals, I mean, well, they're not really part of our time period. So while they are animatronic and moving around, which ones are those who the kids can enjoy? You know what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely, yes. So this summer, you know, we had heard from people, you know, what's the new outdoor exhibit? Like, are the dinos coming back? Are the dinos coming back? We're happy to say the dinosaurs are back. We have 17 animatronic dinosaurs in our outdoor trail. So you've got from the Dakota Raptor to the Tyrannosaurus Rex. We're going to meet some of them later this morning, and they are from the Jurassic, the Cretaceous, and the Triassic era. And it's really cool because you'll go around and they come alive. They make all sorts of movements and sounds, and it's just such a fun, interactive experience. So we've got the dinosaurs from back in the day, and we have brand new animals now. It's just the full spectrums here.
See, my explanation did somewhat make sense. When it comes to activities or events, what else is on the docket?
Absolutely. So we actually have another exhibit indoors this summer as well, Survival of the Slowest, where we have animals that, you know, they are, you know, they're smaller, you know, you might not think that they can exist and do well out in the wild and in human care, but we are working on learning about their counterintuitive adaptations. Mm-hmm. And then we also have daily zoo chats. So we've got the full gamut this summer, and so you can walk around, come see the dinosaurs, you can come see the counterintuitive adaptations of survival of the slowest animals, and all of our daily zoo chats coming every day this summer.
Well, I have lots of questions, and they're going to be answered throughout the morning.
All right,
Stay
thank
with
you,
us.
Ainsley. Such a beautiful start to the day. You can see that sun shining bright there at the zoo, Terry. Do you see that there?
I'm seeing it here too. It's just about to move. You're probably going to see me suddenly in shadow because I've always noticed doing this job, I've never really paid attention prior to this gig, but how quickly the sun moves and how you can actually track it. So I'm out here for about 1 minute each time I do these hits, minute and a half maybe if I talk too long and my director's trying to wrap me up. But in that time to see where the sun is from the start of my hit to the end of the hit. So just a second ago I was looking at it, and now it is completely behind 360 Main Street, the new, I keep calling it a new skyscraper, though it's been there for a year. Anyway, that's the pace that the sun keeps. And by the way, Friday, tomorrow, the solstice, so we're looking at our longest day of the year. Warmer days too. Today will be a seasonal day as far as where the temperature tops out at about 24 degrees, a few extra clouds and some precipitation in areas surrounding us. I don't think we're going to see that in Winnipeg, but clearing as the day goes on. We do have a chance of showers or thunderstorms overnight, however, and then clearing out again tomorrow. With a hotter day tomorrow to be kicking off the summer season and still feeling that heat as we're moving into the weekend. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same day oil and tire changes.
Looking at the early markets, it's a downbeat start to the trading day. Dow futures are down 137 points, while NASDAQ futures are leading the slide off by 96 points. S&P is also lower, down 20 points in early trading. The Canadian dollar is posting a slight gain this morning. Overseas, it's a similar story. The Hang Seng is down 472 points, and Japan's Nikkei has slipped 396. Good morning. It is 6:45. More signs the wildfire danger in Manitoba is easing. The government says it will soon lower fire and travel restrictions in many areas of the province. Right now, the entire burn permit area is under the tightest restrictions at level 3. But as of this morning at 8, the majority will be shifted down to level 2. The change means campfires are permitted between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. However, a travel permit will still be required for remote areas within fire boundaries. Other restrictions, such as a ban on motorized backcountry travel and camping outside of developed campgrounds, remains in place. And fire and travel restrictions have been lifted completely for areas 6, 7, and several provincial parks such as Assiniboine, Birds Hill, Saint-Malo, and Stephenfield. You can find more details on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Nearly 100 wildfire-related charges and dozens of warnings have been handed out by the province. In the latest wildfire update Thursday, the province says since May 1st, 93 charges have been laid and 31 warnings given out. The province did not elaborate on specifically what the charges were for. Manitoba's state of emergency remains in effect until June 26th. Some positive news. The province says it no longer needs all of the emergency shelters set up for wildfire evacuees. Operations are paused at Century Arena, Eric Coy Arena, and Red River College in Winnipeg, as well as the Portage Prairie site. It's because most evacuees are now in hotels. Winnipeg's Leela Soccer Complex shelter and the Billy Mosienko Arena's 24-hour reception center remain open. The shelters were first set up with the Canadian Red Cross in late May when wildfire evacuations began. A huge sigh of relief in 2 provinces, but a major question remains. How did a 3-year-old survive alone for days before being found by a police drone Wednesday? Her discovery came the same day her mother appeared in court, charged with child abandonment. CTV's Denise Roberts has more on the investigation and the child's father's reaction.
3-year-old Claire Bell was found alone, but alive.
She was speaking with the police officer. She was alive. We provided some first aid in water and food for now, and she's been taken care of by the paramedics. So the priority is just to make sure she is okay.
On the 4th day of a massive search combining several police forces, investigators received a big lead that led them to a farm in St. Albert, Ontario, more than an hour from where Claire was reported missing. A woman told them she had seen the toddler on the afternoon she went missing. Ontario provincial police drones then combed the area along the 417 where they found the girl.
As you can imagine, this search has weighed heavily on everyone, including members of the public who became deeply invested in the fate of this young child. This was a search where we knew, especially given her age, that every hour mattered.
Now there are questions about what happened to her, including how a 3-year-old girl could survive 4 days in this rough terrain. Claire's discovery came just minutes after her mother, Rachel Ella Todd, appeared in court facing a charge of child abandonment. Her bail hearing has been delayed and she could face additional charges.
You try that again?
A TikTok video recorded the day the toddler went missing shows an agitated Todd who had quit her job with a hospitality group on June 6th. Her father sent out a message on Instagram thanking those who helped in the search. News that Claire was found spread fast, and there's a palpable sense of joy and relief across the province that the search has been called off, an outcome few could have seen coming. Denise Roberts, CTV News.
For 30 years, Goldie's Fries has been a popular lunchtime destination in the Exchange District, but perhaps not for too much longer.
Area, my friend. Cheers, brother.
The owner of Goldie's Fries has decided to hang up his fry basket. After selling mountains of fries and uncountable numbers of hot dogs and Smokies, Daryl Lehman has decided to sell his food truck. At 69, he says he's ready to step away and enjoy life. Lehman says being the Goldie's Fry guy has been very enjoyable over the decades, and walking away won't be easy.
It's going to be very hard. I'm going to wake up the next day and go, what am I going to do? I can't go downtown and visit my people, but I will support the new owner and look after them, and I will be there to help them. I'm not going to disappear. Not going anywhere. I just want to relax.
Lehman doesn't know when his last day as owner will be. He says he's had a few people inquire about the food truck, but until he sells it, you'll be able to find him in Market Square selling fries. And here's a look now what's happening on Kenniston Boulevard. It looks like things are picking up slowly over here, but overall moving well. No issues to tell you about. If you see any problems out on the streets, please let us know.
It's 14 degrees outside right now with northeast winds 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, humidity sitting at 84%. A few extra clouds still lingering, but not throughout the entire day. They will be moving on out further to the east of us and taking the precipitation with it. You can see the showers and thunderstorms that are going to be moving through parts of northwestern Ontario, northern Manitoba. You're in for sunshine today and warmer temperatures than yesterday. Yesterday you were in the mid-teens. Today you're looking more so into the high teens, and some places even hitting up into the low 20s. More so through the northwest, you'll be into those low 20s today. And yes, fairly clear conditions are expected all across northern Manitoba. Further into the south, while you might enjoy some clearer conditions through the daytime today, by evening time you are likely to see some showers moving in. So southwestern Manitoba will see that precipitation later into the day. We've been just seeing the tail end of it early this morning here in the southeast, so anything for us is going to be clearing out, although we do too have the chance of some overnight precipitation. But for the most part, through the daytime, we're just going to see these clouds clearing and increasing amounts of sunshine then, with temperatures a seasonal 24 or maybe even slightly above for some. Northwestern Ontario, yeah, you are probably in for a bit of a soaking, certainly through the morning hours with the showers and the thunderstorms that are headed your way right now. We do have the chance of showers and thunderstorms overnight and maybe again tomorrow night, but mostly in the overnight hours. Temperatures will be heating up as we're looking toward the end of the week and weekend.
Thank you, Terry. As AI technology evolves, cops are warning kids and teens about new methods of exploitation. As CTV's Connor Hogue reports, in some cases, it's actually young people victimizing each other.
Like that, you can see these AI videos like super real.
Students say AI plays a big part in their everyday lives. It can be used as a study tool. It can also be used to create difficult to discern deepfakes.
Everyone's like images going around, like you can get someone's like image like super like fast off the internet.
I actually just almost had a scam not too long ago, and it was someone trying to be a friend. I just think that a lot of like the negative things aren't really being highlighted as much for sure.
Police say the technology can be used to benefit and to harm. According to Alert's Internet Child Exploitation Unit, AI is already being used to exploit young people, in most cases, by their peers.
What we're finding is that AI is being used to create nude images of other children and used as kind of this new form of cyberbullying.
Constable Stephanie Bosch says it can happen on any app, and the embarrassment AI images can cause is significant. Shame prevents victims from coming forward.
Children will more often fear their social death than their actual physical deaths. Kids may not have taken a nude image of themselves, but what's happening is it's being created, right? And it's being used to bully or harass or extort.
Students say they're wary about what they post and try to limit who can see it.
Personally, me, I just like make my account private. Don't post too much pictures like publicly online.
Like keeping the things you share online to a minimum amount of people.
Bosch says parents need to be open to having difficult conversations with their kids.
Kids are exploring their sexuality online. There's nothing inherently bad with that. It just comes with its own set of risks that we have to discuss.
While the majority of ICE's work happens behind the scenes, in this case, Bosch says the public can have a direct impact.
If we're discounting their lives online, we're creating those barriers, inadvertently even, and it makes it hard for them to talk about it.
Prevention through conversation. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
An Alberta teen is on a mission to prevent genetic defects. The grade 11 student is already keeping some prestigious company with the goal of one day coming up with treatments for newborns to prevent a lifetime of challenges. CTV's Kevin Fleming has more.
A DNA attached to a kidney protein, and this is something that Logan Sear uses to identify genetic disorders. For the last 10 months, he's been passionate about biology.
A DNA mutation, it could either just be a mutation that makes the DNA not function as it otherwise would, that just occurs randomly and you just get unlucky.
Sear is looking to even the playing field through genetic editing, replacing a defective gene with one that works, and it could be used anywhere in the body.
If you could control how your brain develops during development, everyone would just have equally functional brains. Nobody would need to have like a memory disorder or be prone to Alzheimer's or anything like that that's just due to getting unlucky while you're developing. It could all just be streamlined and everyone would have the same chance at life.
He's focused on kidneys right now because his mom was born with just one, and that one failed in 2019. She's been in hospital since last November.
This is actually the 6th time she's gone in, and this time it was to get a new kidney, but it did not work, and she's been kind of put back, and after the incision she just hasn't fully recovered yet.
The 16-year-old is in grade 11 at the STEM Innovation Academy, but is one of close to 70 students at the Knowledge Society that's helping him reach his goals.
We are the top youth innovation program for students who are between the ages of 13 and 18 years old, still in high school or middle school. And we help students work on projects that they're really passionate about, excited about.
Sear says genetic research is advancing rapidly, and the work he's doing is extremely advanced. And he's focused because he wants to find solutions to help others.
I'd say every few hours you could search something up, and if it was the right thing on the right day, the answer would change depending to your search results, depending on the day.
Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
The Winnipeg Sea Bears season continues, and we want you to be part of the action. The Sea Bears will hit the court against the Scarborough Shooting Stars on June 27th. So if you want to be in the stands, we've got the contest for you. CTV Morning Live is giving away a family pack of 4 tickets to give away to the game. Head over to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and hit our contest page for all the entry details. Don't miss your shot. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. Good morning. It is 7 a.m. on Thursday, June 19th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to keep our conversation going on what's happening at Assiniboine Park this summer with Ainsley McPhail throughout the morning, but also at 7:32, Jennifer Catchaway. She was 18 years old. It's her birthday today. She disappeared 17 years ago today. We're going to speak with her parents, Bernice and Wilfred Catchaway, and talk a little bit more on what you can do to support the family. But first, your headlines. Brandon's student speaks out after sword attack, what he says happened moments before the blade came out. Plus, legal challenge over Clear Lake boat ban. Could Parks Canada be forced to rethink its restrictions? And giant great white shark headed for Canada. How the ocean's biggest predator might make a splash on our shores. Bringing it Terry now. Oh yeah, that song is stuck in my head today. Maybe don't hang out near bodies of water today, but it's going to be a hot one.
Yes, it'll be a perfectly pleasant one, I think. Not too hot, although that heat will be felt tomorrow. Woo, look who's off in the distance. Yeah, you want to be careful of where you find yourself today. That looks a little bit intimidating, doesn't it? Not the sunshine, though. That's looking good. 14 degrees, northeast winds. They're 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising. Humidity at 84%. He's frozen in his tracks. Look at that. Whew. All right, chance of showers today, but it's just for the morning hours, and it's already pretty much past us. The activity will more so be off to the east through northwestern Ontario. You can see the showers and thunderstorms that are setting up shop off to the east of us. For northern Manitoba, it's going to be a beautiful and fairly clear day. The last bit of precipitation this morning will push off to the east. We'll then see the clouds clearing out, but another round of precipitation could be moving in later today, and so parts of southwestern Manitoba could be seeing some of that activity. The very most northern border might also see some rain, but it's going to be most northern border. Otherwise, a mix of sun and cloud and some warmth today for northern Manitoba. High teens, low 20s, mid 20s here in the south. We do have the possibility of getting clipped overnight with a shower or thunderstorm, but then it's back to the sunshine again tomorrow. However, again tomorrow night into Saturday, the possibility of some of that overnight precipitation and then clearing out throughout the day Saturday again with sunshine and heat, more so than today. So today 24 degrees, that's normal for this time of year, but then the next couple of days it's going to be pretty warm, and then a cool down coming with another round of rain expected as we're wrapping up the weekend, and from there those cooler temperatures will continue for a couple of weeks. It is so bad, I hope it is better. Elizabeth, we needed the rain. I love your picture though, and hey, we don't need thunderstorms, so if that's the case, it is so bad. Elizabeth is our artist for today, and we want to showcase your art, so take a picture, or draw a picture, pardon me, and send it to us, winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Police are calling it a senseless act of violence within the halls of a Manitoba high school. As we've previously reported, police say a student wielding a sword attacked another student last week at Neelan High School in Brandon, leaving him with life-threatening injuries. Now we're hearing directly from the victim, and a warning: some of what you're about to hear is disturbing. CTV's Danton Unger reports.
Most of the tendons are cut. That's why I have all these things on as they heal. 15-year-old Chinoso Onuke is at home recovering with what police describe as life-altering injuries after a terrifying attack. The whole thing happened so fast you would think it's a dream. It happened here at the Neelan High School in Brandon on June 10th. Onuke, a grade 10 student at the school, says he was walking down the hallway during lunch when he saw someone. I see a guy by there who was walking down the hallway in a black witch doctor mask, like I think a black bucket hat or something like that, and black trench coat. I look at him and I'm like, yo, this is kind of weird. This is Halloween or something. He says he made a joke and then turned to walk away, but something made him turn around. So I look back and he's pulling out a sword. Like, if you looked at it, it was like this. It was big. And that is when the brutal attack began. Before I can even think, he lunges at me like, gets the first one in my abdomen or my leg. I don't know which one. Onuke says he fell to the ground as the attacker continued slashing and stabbing his leg, shoulder, and chest. It was all action, zero thought. He says he managed to grab the blade, slicing 7 of his fingers in the process. He tries to pull it. I don't let go. Then I push it away, and I just book it to the office. Brandon police say another student called the school's resource officer, and within minutes, police arrived at the school, finding a 16-year-old student with a sword. Police say he was tasered and arrested and is now facing charges including attempted murder.
The quick thinking and the response of the student who called our school resource officer saved the day at the end of the day and prevented what would have been additional bloodshed.
Onuke required emergency surgery in Winnipeg, and he says when he woke up in hospital, he didn't believe what had happened to him. I was just there, kind of like wondering, yo, did it actually happen or am I just dreaming? And then I looked down at my hands like, oh, did it actually happen? Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Chinoso Onuke returned to school just days after the attack. In the aftermath, Chinoso says he doesn't even think he's traumatized, though he did tell us sometimes people don't know they're traumatized when they actually are. Meanwhile, police have not yet identified a motive for the attack. Along with attempted murder, the student has been charged with uttering threats, possessing a weapon for a dangerous purpose, and disguise with intent. Those charges have not been proven in court, and Brandon police confirm as of Wednesday the student remains in custody. Police say the Crown Attorney's Office is now reviewing the evidence and will determine if any further charges are warranted. Bob Harrison, the lawyer of the accused, confirmed a provincial judge in Brandon has ordered a forensic assessment to determine if his client is suffering from any psychological or mental health disorders. A group of Clear Lake residents is taking legal action against Parks Canada watercraft ban. Parks Canada has banned motorized boats on the lake since May 16th to fight the spread of zebra mussels. The invasive species was found in the lake in 2023. A citizen group called Fairness for Clear Lake wants to reverse the decision and has filed for a judicial review. The group says Parks Canada's ban was made without meaningful consultation and clear evidence or regard for the economic impact a ban would have. It's asking a judge to stop the enforcement of the ban and make public the evidence Parks Canada used to justify the boat ban.
And whether you have a boat or you don't, or whether you want boats back on the lake or not, I think we can all agree that decision-making at Riding Mountain National Park needs to be improved. It needs to include all stakeholders.
On its website, Parks Canada says it's now researching how motorized watercraft affect ecological, socioeconomic, and cultural components of Clear Lake. Another wave of strikes from Iran has caused heavy damage to a hospital in southern Israel. Iran claims the target of the strike was a military site near the Soroka hospital. Officials in Israel say at least one missile did hit the hospital, and the damage is extensive. There were also reports of strikes in Tel Aviv and other locations in Israel, with at least 65 people said to be hurt across the country. Meanwhile, Israel launched more strikes on Iran's nuclear program. One of the targets was the inactive A-Rock heavy water reactor. This is all happening as the U.S. continues to weigh its options.
I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. The next week is going to be very big, maybe less than a week.
U.S. President Donald Trump has reportedly approved an attack plan for Iran, but he's said to be holding off on the green light as he calls for Iran's unconditional surrender. U.S. lawmakers are demanding President Trump seek approval from Congress before taking military action. Contender may be coming to Canada. Contender is the Northwest Atlantic Ocean's biggest, baddest great white shark on record. He was first spotted back in January near Florida and was hooked up with a tracker. It's now showing he's headed north towards Canadian waters. He weighs about 1,000 kilograms. He's more than 4 meters long and has swam more than 3,000 kilometers since the start of this year. That all adds up to him being the biggest shark ever captured and recorded. Here's a look now what's happening on Notre Dame Avenue. Things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about. If you see any problems out there, though, please let us know.
Canada's benchmark stock index, the S&P TSX Composite, rose slightly yesterday and will begin today's trading day at 26,559 points. It's now up almost 7.5% so far this year. U.S. stock markets were mixed yesterday, and futures contracts on the three main U.S. stock indices were lower this morning. There is more evidence that U.S. trade tariffs on the automobile sector will mean significant price increases to U.S. consumers. Alex Partners, a consulting firm, says the price of a U.S. vehicle would rise by $1,760 per vehicle under the 25% tariff now in place. It also predicts that higher prices will result in about 1 million fewer cars being sold over the next 3 years. And the price of crude oil moved higher again today as oil traders wonder if the conflict between Israel and Iran will worsen. The price of West Texas Intermediate crude oil traded in New York this morning was $76.20 U.S. per barrel. From the BNN Bloomberg Newsroom in Toronto, I'm Paul Bagnall.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who is live at Assiniboine Park this morning. Oh, yeah, we can hear the rumble back there. Pretty scary, Ainsley. Where are you?
Dinosaurs uncovered, Rochelle. Back in the day, I mean, I looked up some facts. 9 tons, 40 feet, the world's strongest bite, of course, you know, between 66 and 68 million years ago. But here at Assiniboine Park, we're taking you back in time. There's almost 20 animatronic dinosaurs. So we're going to have a couple more facts, including they used to have feathers, did they? How fascinating. We're also going to be learning about survival of the slowest, which is allowing kids to have a look at some of the slowest creatures as well. I might even be holding a snake, depending on how much it's shed so far. There's also different ways to connect and ask questions and learn. So we'll be talking about zoo chats as well.
Okay, sounds like fun. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Out on the rooftop now, dinosaurs were just giant birds, Terry. Any signs of birds out there right now?
Do you know, every now and then I'll have some visitors up here on my rooftop, but I'm not seeing anything at this particular moment. Maybe some will show up now that we're talking about them. The sun is certainly back again. I mentioned the last time that I was up here, it had moved behind 360 Main Street. It is back in full view again. get the sunglasses out. There's still a couple of clouds hanging around here this morning, but even those are likely to clear as we continue on through the day. 15 degrees, we're warming up with northeast winds, 13 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 81%. I was saying earlier I could notice that smell of smoke in the air, less so now, even though those winds haven't really shifted yet. But out of the south is where they're expected to be moving from later on today, so that should certainly help improve any sort of lingering campy smell that you might notice. Although I will say all of the air quality warnings and advisories have been lifted, not just in Manitoba, northwestern Ontario as well, so we are seemingly in the clear with some improvements to come. Now the sun will shine for us throughout the day today, even for northern Manitoba. High teens, low 20s across the north, mid 20s here in the south. There is the possibility though that this evening overnight we see another round of precipitation.
CTV Morning Live Weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
Okay, thank you, Terry. And today is officially the last day of spring. So for our question of the day, we wanted to know what song screams summer to you. Our question of the day has moved from Twitter, so now we want you to text your answer along with your name to 10400. That's 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. It's Thursday, you know what that means. It's time for Pet of the Week. This week, we're shining the spotlight on the adorable Bluey, who just turned 1. Her human, Heather, tells us Bluey loves playing fetch and has even become quite the little bug exterminator. Just look at that sweet face. Bluey is as cute as they come, and that's why she's our Pet of the Week. Congratulations, Bluey. We can't get enough of your adorable pet submissions, and we'd love to see more. No matter the size, species, or silliness, if they're your pet, they're perfect. Send us your favorite photo and a fun little story to petoftheweek@ctv.ca. And don't forget to watch CTV Morning Live every Thursday from 6 to 9 to find out if your pet is our next Pet of the Week. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. Good morning. It is 7:16. A 36-year-old man is dead following a head-on crash north of Winnipeg. It happened Tuesday on Highway 8 near Bay Road. Selkirk RCMP say a sedan heading north veered into the southbound lane. It collided head-on with a large truck heading south. Emergency responders pronounced the driver of the sedan dead at the scene. The driver of the truck was brought to hospital where he was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. RCMP collision analysts are now investigating. A new variant of COVID has emerged this spring, and it has a very painful sounding name.
People are describing what's called razor blade throat, or a really severe sore throat.
That main symptom gives the NB181 variant, or Nimbus, its common name, razor blade throat. It spread quickly across Asia and other regions since being identified in January. In Canada, Nimbus accounted for 4% of COVID cases in early April and jumped to an estimated 45% of all cases as of last week. However, the World Health Organization says there's nothing to suggest it's more severe than other variants. Symptoms include gastrointestinal symptoms like nausea, heartburn, and stomach pain, and a razor blade sensation in the throat. To limit the spread, doctors suggest hand washing, avoiding touching your face, and masking when sick. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will soon be on the road to Vancouver, where they'll take on the BC Lions this weekend. And some of the dads in the lineup may be looking forward to some extra sleep. The Bombers beat the Lions 34-20 last Thursday in the season opener at Winnipeg's Princess Auto Stadium. Several players have celebrated the arrival of new babies, which means they need to spend extra time and energy off the field at home. Head coach Mike O'Shea says while the players, wives, and partners take care of most of the family's needs, the fathers on his team tend to take advantage of their road trips to get an extra bit of shut-eye.
Your spouse steps up, especially during the season, to give you the time you need to be good at your job. And then part of that is when they get on the road, it's like, whew, I can get an extra couple hours sleep.
The Bombers will try to tame the Lions this Saturday at BC Place. Game time is 6 o'clock. Here's a look now what's happening on Donald Street. Things are slowly picking up over here. No major delays to tell you about, though. If you see any problems, let us know, please.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
It's time now for some entertainment news. The Pope held a private audience with an acting icon at the Vatican. See if you can spot the legendary actor in this photo. That's right, that's star Al Pacino meeting with the Chicago-born pontiff. On the left is Andrea Iavallino, producer of the upcoming film Maserati, The Brothers. Pacino will be appearing in the film about the founding of the luxury car maker. Time sure does fly by. Oasis is already kicking off their reunion tour next month. The band is also launching pop-up merch stores alongside their tour dates in the UK and Ireland. The first space will open in Manchester tomorrow. Meanwhile, Oasis is celebrating their 15th anniversary of Time Flies 1994 to 2009. They recently released this quadruple vinyl box set. The reunion tour kicks off in Wales July the 4th. This scary franchise is keeping us hooked.
Best friends are getting married.
A marked envelope. Could it be cash? A check?
A new trailer has been released for I Know What You Did Last Summer. We'll see the return of some familiar faces from the 90s franchise. Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt are back on screen with a new cast. It hits theaters July 18th. Your primetime lineup kicks off at 7 with Transplant, followed by Good Cop, Bad Cop. And E-Talk wraps up the night at 10:30. It's all right here on CTV. All right, bringing in Terry now. Terry, I noticed there's all those fluffy cotton.
Oof, the poplar fluffs.
It's making my sinus crazy.
They're everywhere.
Yes.
Sometimes just looks like fresh snow out there. I know, yeah, that's just, I suppose, one of the downfalls, but that's nature making sure it does its job replenishing. Anyway, we are going to enjoy plenty of sunshine today and maybe just enough of a breeze to keep them airborne. Okay, we're looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. River is looking very calm this morning. The winds are light right now. It's a northwest wind this morning that'll become a southwest wind later on today, shifting ever so slightly. And earlier this morning, I was noticing a little bit of that smoky smell to the air, even though there's no air quality statements or even warnings issued. But with the shift in the winds, any kind of campy smell that you might too have noticed will probably be improving as this air kind of moves out of the way with the shifting winds. 15 degrees is where we're sitting right now in Winnipeg and in Sprague and in Portage La Prairie. We're seeing 12s. That, by the way, is a seasonal low temperature, 12 degrees in Brandon and in Dauphin right now. That's where Kenora is sitting too, just below seasonal, but only by a degree. We've got Roblin, Melita coming in at 11 degrees this morning. Thompson, big gains for you. You were at -1 at 5 a.m. and then jumped up to the freezing mark and now making some very impressive leaps. Some double digits even seeing in some parts of the north. You're headed up into the high teens and low 20s with fairly clear conditions. We're going to see the last of these clouds clearing on out, but northwestern Ontario is where that rain and thunderstorm activity is going to be headed. 18 degrees when we're sending kids off to school for one of the last days now into the 8 o'clock hour. 24 by the time they're coming home with even clearer conditions as the last of the clouds move out. But there is a possibility that then overnight we could see some precipitation in showers or thunderstorms. Again, a hot one tomorrow as those temperatures start to rise. After the rain yesterday, a beautiful rainbow formed in Notre Dame de Lourdes, shining over the farm equipment. Thanks to Diane for the photo. And keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
CTV Morning Live School Day Forecast is brought to you by Rainbow Stage, your season to sing.
Thank you, Terry. The fear of breast cancer returning is very real among cancer survivors. But as CTV's Pauline Chan tells us, a new drug has just been approved that promises to reduce that worry.
Nicole Macronia-Powell was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer 2 days before she was supposed to go on vacation in Mexico in 2023. She canceled her plans and began a grueling series of treatments.
So I did 8 rounds of chemotherapy, I did 4 rounds of Perjeta, and once I started my second round of chemotherapy, I started what would become 18 rounds of Herceptin, and shortly after finishing chemotherapy, I had surgery to remove 13 lymph nodes on my left side.
Her cancer is gone now, but the fear of cancer returning is always on her mind.
You always think about it. You hear about the rates of reoccurrence, and it's often metastasized at that point.
That's why the approval of ribociclib, also known as Kisqali, is so important.
When added to standard hormone therapy, Kisqali has been shown to significantly lower the chance of breast cancer recurrence in a broad population of patients with hormone receptor positive HER2 negative early stage breast cancer.
And Dr. Kaja Jerzak says that's a significant number of early stage breast cancer patients.
For those diagnosed with this type of disease, up to 1 in 3 women may experience a recurrence within 20 years of initial treatment. And unfortunately, often when the cancer comes back, it returns as metastatic disease, which is usually incurable. So it's really important to try to optimize therapies when we're at that curative state.
Provincial coverage for Kisqali is still being worked out, but Dr. Jerzak says a key benefit is that it's effective in a broad range of patients. Nicole finally did manage to vacation in Puerto Vallarta, and she is grateful to know there's now one more option available for patients like her to keep cancer at bay. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The Winnipeg Folk Festival is celebrating a milestone this summer, and we want you to have the whole experience. Folk Fest is 50 in 2025. As always, it will feature music, workshops, and a whole lot more, and you could be there to make memories of your own. We're giving away tickets for the entire weekend, plus quiet camping for you and 3 friends. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and tell us your favorite memory, whether it's from the first festival or the 49th, and maybe share a pic or 2. Good luck. Coming up, we are live at Assiniboine Park. They've got lots going on there, including dinosaurs. Stay with us. Dinosaurs Uncovered is now at Assiniboine Park Zoo. That is where Ainsley McPhail is live this morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
Almost 20 animatronic dinosaurs, Rochelle. You can hear them, you can feel their presence, and I tried to pull out as many statistics as I could, but Barrett Miller is our expert, so he's going to share with us about what we're seeing behind us. And is that feathers or fur? I think it's feathers.
Those are feathers. They look kind of furry, kind of like you might see on an emu, but they are feathers. Dinosaurs are actually the ancestors of our modern birds, and that's actually one of the big things that's changed in dinosaur science, in paleontology. Throughout my life, we've realized that they're a lot faster, or were a lot faster, warm-blooded and feathered, not necessarily scaled. So that's sort of as accurate as we can come for a juvenile Tyrannosaurus rex like we have behind us here.
There's tons here, too, to look and see and learn about. What can people expect when they come to Dinosaurs Uncovered?
Well, so the animatronics are motion sensitive, so you will see dinosaurs moving in that sort of more modern, upright, fast kind of motion. It's great. What kid doesn't love dinosaurs? We're fascinated by the past, we're fascinated by their power, and we're fascinated by the fact that we need to come to something like Dinos Uncovered to see them. They're just not around anymore, they're extinct. So it is all part and parcel of a visit to the zoo this summer, and you can actually come and learn about these magnificent extinct animals, but also some of our magnificent biodiversity that's not extinct. What our conservation folks and what the zoo is doing to protect some of the species that we have now, and what you can do at home to make sure that you're not going to need to go see polar bears uncovered in 50 years. Help protect the living biodiversity that we do have now.
Well, you got to call it back to education, especially when it comes to the kids, too.
I try.
We're almost out of time. Do you have a favorite one?
You know, the baby Rex is one of them. Somebody had littered. I needed to go beyond the rope with the Rex just before we went on air. And
he was pretty brave.
I was not thinking that was a robot. I was watching that like I would any wild animal that we might encounter in Manitoba. So this one right now.
Thank you so much. Chris Pratt, everyone.
So fun. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Yeah, and why not take the family outside? It's going to be a good one today.
Absolutely. It's going to be good for a few days. I mean, it's going to get increasingly warmer for the next couple. Today will be more in those mid-20s, and just a light breeze is expected. Right now, we're starting out in the mid-teens at 15 degrees with northeast winds 13 clicks. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 81%, and just a few extra clouds lingering this morning. The precipitation that's with them pushing off to the east, so you can see through parts of northwestern Ontario the showers, the thunderstorms that are setting up shop there, but we're going to see these clouds clearing out with increasing amounts of sun then instead. And for northern Manitoba, beautiful sunny conditions as well. It will be a little bit warmer across northern Manitoba today, topping out in the high teens and low 20s, whereas yesterday mid-teens. It was a little bit cooler for you. Today will be very similar to yesterday here in southern Manitoba. We got to the mid-20s yesterday. We'll do it again, 24 degrees with clearing conditions and winds that will be shifting. They're out of the northwest right now. Later on today, a south wind at about 15 kilometers per hour. Then overnight, there is the possibility of showers, maybe some thunderstorms. We're likely to see that activity developing later on this evening in southwestern Manitoba. And then moving through parts of the south, whether or not it hits us here in Winnipeg, it is just a chance. 15 degrees is our low temperature overnight, and then up to 28 tomorrow. So even warmer than today, with a mix of sun and cloud and some south winds at about 20 kilometers per hour. From there, Saturday, still on the hotter side, 27 degrees, but Sunday will come with some rain and some cooler temperatures, so high teens and remaining a little bit cooler as we continue through the middle of next week.
Jennifer Catchaway went missing on her 18th birthday 17 years ago today on June 19th. Jennifer was coming back home from Grand Rapids to her birthday party at her parents' home in Portage la Prairie, but she never made it. Her family has never stopped searching for her. Joining us now are Jennifer Catchaway's parents, Bernice and Wilfred Catchaway. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Michelle.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, today is Jennifer's birthday. It's also the last time you spoke to her 17 years ago. This must be such a difficult day for you both.
Yes, it is. Every day is a difficult day without Jennifer.
Take us back.
There's not a day that goes by that we don't think about her.
Mm-hmm. Take us back to 2008. Tell us what happened that day.
That day was her birthday. We were preparing for her. She had asked for a barbecue. And so we were preparing for her birthday. She called me that morning on her birthday. And she said, "It's my birthday, Mom." I said, it's your birthday. We were happy, you know, and it's very emotional. It's been 17 years today, but it feels like yesterday. Feels like it just happened. You know, the pain is so real, and that call was the last time we spoke to her. I spoke to her.
She never made it to that barbecue, right?
She never made it home. It's been 17 years today. She hasn't been home. We haven't heard from her. We've been searching for her every summer, right to the fall.
And you received, over the years, you've received numerous tips. You offered a reward for any information, but still, after all this time, you still have no answers. What's the latest on the investigation that you know of?
We have no idea as far as the RCMP's investigation. We have no contact. They never contacted us ever. Well, if I do speak with them, it's me calling them. So I've never spoken to them. And we just go on our own. We investigate on our own. We search on our own. With a couple of my family members, we just continue going.
It's a long ways from where she went missing. Started off from the Dakota TP to Grand Rapids, all the way to Pine Creek, coming to even in the mountains in Duck Bay. So there's a lot of stories that we have to follow up on. And it's hard to deal with false rumors.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Even after all this time, are you still getting tips from people?
Yes, we are constantly getting tips.
We just spoke to a person the other day who contacted me and wants to remain anonymous. So we have a location. We have a few locations to check in the next while here. We will be going out again.
When will you go out again?
Probably in the next few weeks. We should be ready to go.
Do you still believe that there's someone out there that might be holding the key to solving this?
Yes, definitely. I believe that with all of my heart, that somebody out there knows that has that missing piece. We have information, we have, video footage, we have things like that, but we need that person to come forward anonymously, through any way, which means you can get the message to me or Crime Stoppers. If you feel you want to go to Crime Stoppers, go that way. Mm-hmm. And if you want to go through me, I'm on Facebook. You can reach me there and leave a message. If you've got information on Jennifer, anything, we'll look at that. We'll go and look. We'll go search in that area, whatever you have. Somebody out there holds that missing piece.
You are having a special barbecue coming up. Tell us about what you're doing and what people can do to support you.
Today's Jennifer's birthday. We are going to have a family meal here and a birthday cake for Jennifer today, my husband and I. And on the 29th of June, we're having a barbecue in Sagging First Nation, Jennifer's band. We're going out there to celebrate her birthday and have a barbecue. Everybody's welcome. If you're in the area, drop by.
Sagging First Nation is where Jennifer is originally from, and there's a lot of missing and murdered in Fort Halley. I think it's the biggest there in Canada that are missing.
Bernice and Wilfred, we're thinking of you today, and we thank you so much for taking some time on this difficult day to speak with us. Take care, and if anyone has any information at all, please contact Crime Stoppers. Thank you, Wilfred. Thank you, Bernice.
Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
All right, we are coming back to the zoo. That is a sloth that you're looking at. And apparently for the longest time, he did not move, though we have had the camera on him for a couple of minutes now. And how lucky for you all at home that he decided to move. Let us know that he's alive. At first, we were starting to wonder, oh my goodness, what a great way to be waking up this morning. 15 degrees outside, northeast winds, 13 clicks. The pressure falling, the humidity at 81%. You want to look at us? Hello, you want to look at us? Oh, yeah, okay. Settled right back asleep. Okay, no big deal. You might want to too. Oh, my goodness, don't do that. Get outside, enjoy these morning temperatures. The sun is shining, it's looking good, and we're going to see these clouds clearing out. Northwestern Ontario, you might find yourself stuck indoors for a little bit. Showers, thunderstorms, you can see them moving through your neck of the woods. We had that precipitation rolling over us. Winnipeg didn't really see much of it. For northern Manitoba, you're also in for fairly sunny conditions today. The very most northern part of the province might see some precipitation, so Churchill could be part of that possibility of some showers. Otherwise, it'll be a sunny one. High teens, low 20s, a little bit warmer than yesterday when you topped out into the mid-teens. So today, temperatures are actually looking closer to what you might expect for this time of year. And then for southern Manitoba, we've seen the sky clearing out, and we'll continue to see that through the day, but then into the afternoon or evening, more so into the evening time, another round of precipitation likely to move through. So southwestern Manitoba will be seeing that this evening. That's why we put the showers in there. For us, it could be moving through overnight. Most of the daytime today, we're just going to be enjoying increasing amounts of sunshine. And yeah, mid-20 temperatures, 24 degrees is normal for this time of year. But further to the east, it'll likely be a soggy, maybe a stormy day. Showers and thunderstorms expected throughout parts of northwestern Ontario. We have a chance of seeing that overnight, then back to the heat tomorrow, and even possibly again some overnight showers before another round of heat hits Saturday into the weekend. Showers, thunderstorms, possibly Sunday. It's going to come with some cooler temperatures, which will linger through the middle of next week.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We've been watching that sloth a little bit this morning, Ainsley, and this is about a new exhibit. It's called Survival of the Slowest. Good morning.
Yeah, survival of the slothiest. I'm glad you guys got a picture of, isn't that awesome? I'm glad you got it, because we're going to learn about, I guess, the antonym of, of a sloth that I was just learning about. This here is Jeffrey. I am joined by Indy right now. He's going to explain. But before Jeffrey came to our program, he gave himself a bit of a makeover. Please explain.
Yeah, Jeffrey's got a little bit of brain damage. He got his head stuck in a door at one point, and so for a while his behavior was a little bit strange, but since he's been with us, he's been a lot more relaxed and a lot more better behaved. He's a very, very sweet guy now.
When I mentioned the makeover too, so I'm glad he's feeling a lot better now, but the skin, what has happened most recently?
Yeah, Jeffrey shed his skin. He was super excited to be on TV, so he decided to give himself a bit of a fresh look. Snakes shed their skin all in one piece, and they'll build up a small layer of fluid underneath the old skin and separate it from the new skin. And so he took it all off, and now he's got this big, shiny, beautiful body for us today.
Lots to see here, whether it is sloths or turtles and so much more. Tell me a little bit about it and why, in particular, the slowest animals.
It's not so much the slowest animals as it is counterintuitive adaptations. So animals who adapt to survival in ways that feel incorrect. Like sloths move incredibly slowly to the point where they grow algae on their bodies. Oh, wow. We've got some animals, exactly, right? We've got some of our animals here that have beautiful camouflage. Like Jeffrey here is actually a mimic, so he mimics other animals' patterns in order to reap the benefits of the hard work of other critters. We've got some amazing tarantulas that are quite large and some that are quite small. We've got lots of really, really cool adaptations here.
Oh my goodness. Imagine saying that to our managers, Rochelle, when we have deadlines. You just got algae all over you just because you're moving so slow. I don't think that would work in this business. Back to you.
Thank you, Ainsley. A 42-year-old man from Winnipeg was killed when the off-road vehicle he was driving hit an SUV. It happened Tuesday afternoon at the corner of Highway 44 and Road 25E in the RM of Broken Head. RCMP say the SUV was heading west on the 44 when the off-road vehicle tried to cross the road and hit the SUV. The driver of the off-road vehicle was pronounced dead at the scene. A passenger on the off-road vehicle was seriously injured and remains in critical condition in a hospital. The provincial government has signed an agreement to support an area of Ukraine in its reconstruction efforts. Premier Wabkanu virtually signed a memorandum of understanding with the governor of Ukraine's Kherson region, which is partly occupied by Russian forces. Kanu says the West has a responsibility to stand up for Ukraine and noted a Manitoban, Austin Laughlin-Bercier, died fighting alongside Ukrainian soldiers. The agreement calls for collaboration in areas such as agriculture, economic development, and healthcare. Kanu says he would like to start sending aid immediately, which could include resources or expertise from Manitoba Hydro. And here's a look now at your gas prices in Winnipeg. They're sitting below the national average today. The city's average is just over $1.33. Across Manitoba, the average is about $1.32, while the national average is slightly higher at around $1.38.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
It's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy first anniversary, Lizelle and Michael. Wishing you many more years of happiness with lots of love from Mom, Dad, and in-laws. Happy 25th birthday, Riel, from your family. Happy 11th birthday, Nicholas. Love Mom, Dad, and Brendan. Happy 83rd birthday, Grandpa Laverne, from us and Gus. Happy anniversary, John and Pauline, from your children and grandchildren. Congratulations, Joel, on graduating from Fisher River High School. Lots of love coming from all of your family. Happy graduation, Sophia. Love Mom and your little siblings, Memphis and Georgia. Happy 8th birthday, Lincoln. Love Grand-mère, Grandpapa, and all your family and friends. Happy 40th birthday, Stephanie, from family and friends. And congratulations to all graduating students of Yellow Quill University College from the College Board and staff. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's Celebrate, brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
Gorgeous out here, not feeling too hot, but the sun at this very moment is just tucked behind some clouds. These clouds will continue to clear, and then it might be feeling pretty hot when there's no more clouds for it to tuck behind. We're looking at straight up sunny conditions then through the afternoon. 15 degrees is where we are right now. We'll tack another 10 on almost through the day. Northeast winds are 13 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, and the humidity is sitting at 81%. So clearing through the day, northwestern Ontario, all of the activity is headed your way. Showers, thunderstorms, that's expected across the eastern border, but most of Manitoba will then just see sunshine. For northern Manitoba, high teens, low 20s. Here in the south, mid 20s. There is the possibility that overnight we start to see some activity, showers, some thunderstorms moving into the southwest tonight.
Mama Way Tata is a family resource center that connects Indigenous caregivers with families. The center provides tools, services, and programs to keep families strong and together. Mama Way has helped so many people in our community, and this year it is celebrating a big milestone. Its 40th anniversary. Joining us now is Mama Way Executive Director Tammy Christensen. Hello, Tammy.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. 40 years.
40 years.
Take us back to 40 years ago and how it all began.
Yeah, so the Mama Wichita Center really was the idea of a small group of Indigenous community members who were seeking a solution to the high number of Indigenous kids that were going into care.
Okay, and so what was the decision at that point, and what was the plan to help address that?
Yeah, so the idea was that they wanted to have an Indigenous-led solution, Indigenous programming for Indigenous people. So they really started, I think it was a small building on Notre Dame Avenue that was really about creating space for Indigenous people to seek help and advocacy from Indigenous people.
And so then it obviously expanded and got bigger because the need was so great. Tell us a little bit about how far you've come in those 40 years.
Yeah, so over the past 40 years, the organization has grown. We now have 19 locations, over 200 Indigenous staff, and well over 50 programs that are all serving Indigenous community from children, youth, seniors, across the board.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the work that you do there.
Yeah, so again, Mama Way has over 19 locations. We do everything from our community care sites, which are really places for community to come and be and seek supports and resources or just connect with one another. We have a large active youth department. We have programs serving youth in care. We have programs that support our unhoused relatives. We have a lot of programs around preventing children going in care, but also reunification of children out of care.
And you've seen some real changes in the community as a result of this center, right? Tell us about some of the good news stories that you've seen.
Yeah, so I mean, one of my favorite programs is our Family Group Conference program, and that is one is really about reunifying children that are in care with their families. So we're seeing families, children coming out of care and returning to the care of their families. A lot of our residential care programs, we see kids that have been really struggling on their own, that are now successful young adults, and it's really beautiful because sometimes they'll come back and just share where they are in their lives now. But I think overall it really is about just creating strength within the Indigenous community, and that's a lot of what we see. A lot of our community members may come to us for support or as volunteers, and a lot of them are now employed by the organization and now giving back to the community in that way.
And why do you think it works so well?
You know, I think it works because Mama Way, our name translates to we all work together to help one another. And that's really about us walking with people in their journey, and so recognizing where they're at, but also we're strengths-based. So we don't look at people and say, oh, this is what's wrong with you and this is how we're going to fix you. It's like, let us walk with you, and we really look at their strengths and really create opportunities for them in that way.
We're almost out of time already. What are you doing to celebrate this big milestone?
Yeah, 40 years. So we are having a big community celebration next Friday from 12 till 4 at our 445 King Street. We really welcome everybody to come. And then in the fall, we'll be having a huge gala.
Well, it sounds perfect. And of course, if you want more information, we also have a link on our website. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
All right, coming up, we're live at Assiniboine Park Zoo. Look at this. I think that's the sloth. Is he waking up? Slowly. He's getting there. It's an early start for this guy. We'll be back after this with more CTV Morning Live.
Hey there, Lindsay Hamilton inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday, and it comes from an absolutely wild ending at the Men's College World Series. It is Arkansas taking on LSU. The Razorbacks went out away from forcing a winner-take-all semifinal. Luis Hernandez with a liner to left, but outfielder Chuck Davalon slips. Cannot make that grab. The ball bouncing off his shoulder. LSU scored 2 on the misplay, tying it up at 5, and that would be huge. As the very next batter, Jared Jones goes up the middle, off the glove of the second baseman. Hernandez, he comes around to score, and LSU walk it off to book their spots in the championship final. Meanwhile, tonight on TSN, Week 3 in the CFL kicks off with the Alouettes visiting the Elks. Montreal is looking to start 3-0 for the second straight season. Pre-game coverage beginning at 7:30 p.m. Central. That's all for now on the Sports Center Newsroom. Have a great day.
TSN Must See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on your Thursday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on CTV Morning Live. At 8:15 today, Premier Wab Kinew is going to join us and give us an update on the wildfire situation in our province. And then at 8:45, we're going to introduce you to a Special Olympics athlete as well as ambassador. But first, here's a look at your headlines. Brandon school sword attack, what the victim saw in the moments leading up to the life-threatening encounter. Child found safe. Questions swirl as a Montreal area toddler is located over 100 kilometers from where she went missing. And these contented British cows pass along their placid demeanor to farm visitors willing to pay for the experience. Oh, cuddles with a cow.
That looked kind of serene, didn't it?
It did. It really did. Kind of like the sloth and how chilled out he is this
I know.
morning.
Any of them. You give me an animal to snuggle up with, I'd be happy to spend the day here.
So nice. How's the day feeling today?
Do you know what? It is looking good outside. It's feeling good too. 15 degrees right now. That comes with the slightest breeze out of the northeast, just 13 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 81%. I was noticing when I first got up this morning a smell of smoke in the air. I was like, oh, not this again. But it's already beginning to improve and will likely continue to do so. Maybe I've just gotten used to it because the winds haven't shifted yet, but they are likely to do that and move out of the south, helping to improve any of that air quality. Although I will say there are no air quality warnings or even statements issued, not just in Manitoba. Anything that had been issued for parts of northwestern Ontario over the past couple of days has also lifted. So we are noticing some improvements there. Perhaps the rain has something to do with it. It's been off and on. There were some storms that rolled through yesterday. This morning we were just seeing some lingering precipitation that has now moved off to the east of us, northwestern Ontario. You could be in for some showers and thunderstorms this morning. For northern Manitoba, mostly clear. You'll see a little bit of precipitation lingering right along that most northern border. So up around Churchill, you could be in for some showers. And speaking of showers, later on into the evening time, another round of precipitation likely to move through with parts of southwestern Manitoba. Could pass through for us overnight. That chance of showers or thunderstorms, if we do see it at all, will be in the overnight hours and back to sunnier conditions for tomorrow. And then again, overnight Friday into Saturday, we could be getting clipped with some precipitation, but Sunday is the day that it might actually hit dayside. That round of rain on Sunday will cool things down after these temperatures continue to rise over the next couple of days. And our weather art is all about the rain from Elizabeth, who says, "It is so bad, I hope it is better." Well, I hope it's better too, Elizabeth. 7 years old, and thank you for this. Keep the photos coming, or the art coming, please. You can send your picture to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Terrifying new details are emerging about a sword attack inside a Brandon High School last week. The teenage victim, who's now at home recovering, sat down with CTV News to share his story. And a warning, some of the details you're about to hear are disturbing.
I don't really think it was that traumatic, to be honest, because I still act the same at the end of the day. Like, I mean, there's a thing people say that, like, you don't know when you're traumatized. So I could be, I don't know. But in the moment, I was not thinking at all.
The moment Chinose Onuke is referring to is when he was attacked by a sword-wielding assailant during lunch break at Neelan High School. He says he didn't think much of it when he first encountered a person wearing a black trench coat and witch doctor mask in the hallway. But before he could react, the person pulled out a sword and stabbed him, causing him to fall to the floor, where the attack continued. Sensing that the assailant was about to stab a vital organ, Onuke says he grabbed hold of the blade and the two struggled for a moment before he jumped up and ran for help.
When you think about actions, you tend to hesitate, or they just happen slower. So like if I had stood there when he stabbed me the first time and I was thinking, yo, how am I gonna do this or that, that gives him more time to stab me again. So it's like, there's that.
A police officer responded soon after and tasered the suspect. A fellow student is facing charges of attempted murder, uttering threats, possession of a weapon, and disguise with intent. Those charges have not been proven in court, and Brandon police confirm as of Wednesday the student remains in custody. A Manitoba First Nation is asking members not to return home even though their wildfire evacuation order was lifted. Tataskwayak Cree Nation, also known as Split Lake, was evacuated late last month as an out-of-control wildfire burned only a kilometer away, causing the community to lose power. The evacuation order was initially lifted Monday. However, Chief and Council posted on Facebook, water quality tests showed high levels of aluminum because the water treatment plant was no longer functioning. The First Nation is now in talks with Indigenous Services Canada and Health Canada to clean the pipes and reservoir. Water samples will then need to be taken and analyzed before residents may return. In a miraculous ending, a Montreal toddler missing since Sunday was found safe by a police drone on the side of an Ontario highway.
She was wearing clothing. We don't want to comment on anything that could, that is part of the investigation.
Her discovery came just minutes after her mother appeared in court facing a child abandonment charge. 3-year-old Claire Bell was found alone but alive on the 4th day of a massive search by several police forces. This dairy farm in the UK is in the business of selling cuddles. Visitors to Dumble Farm can pay about $175 for the cow cuddle experience. They can hug, brush, and pet cows as they lie in a barn. Visitors can also head out on a cow safari to see some Highland cattle. Dumble Farms donates some of its proceeds to groups building habitats to protect wildlife. Here's a look now at what's happening along Portage at Polo Park. Things are slowly picking up over here, but overall moving well. No issues to tell you about. If you see any problems out on the streets, let us know. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at Assiniboine Park this morning. We're talking about all the fun things happening there this summer. Good morning.
Rochelle, how do you know that I'm live at Assiniboine Park? Don't you think I'm on a tropical vacation somewhere?
It certainly looks
somewhere
like
nice
it.
and warm. You know, yeah, I thought maybe I fooled you.
You did.
Barrett joins us. Lots of behind-the-scenes experiences, as Rochelle was just mentioning. Here in Toucan Ridge, that's no exception. What's an example?
So here in Toucan Ridge, it's a chance for folks to work with one of our education staff and our animal care professionals to get behind the scenes and see some of how birds get positive reinforcement training and a little bit of indoor birding with some species that you wouldn't normally see outside. So it's a chance to see the zoo from the perspective of the folks who work with the animals, from a perspective that most folks will never actually see. So even if you think you know Assiniboine Park Zoo, behind the scenes lets you know it in a different way.
See and hear. My goodness, there's some outspoken characters here. Something else I wanted to mention too is some of the other behind the scenes experiences too. Polar bears, for example, I know that one always sells out quickly, but there's way more to explore.
Yeah, if you're an Arctic adventurer and polar bears is sold out, I highly recommend our behind the scenes with the seals. You actually get to participate with an animal care professional in some of the training that helps our seals take part in their own care. So you are barrier-free with harbor seals. Oh, wow. Pretty incredible. Aunt Sally's Farm, a chance for the young ones in your life to sort of experience life as an animal care worker here at the zoo and sort of see, they think this might be a career pathway, they think this might be fun. You just want to hang out with the animals on the farm for a bit, that's a good one. And our 2 big cat experiences also have lots of room. If you're a cat person, you really should learn about the differences and similarities between tigers and snow leopards and the little critter that curls up on your couch with you, because the parallels are pretty fascinating. Oh, wow. So any of them are excellent experiences. They're about an hour long and really do put this place and the work that this place does in conservation in new perspective.
Thank you so much. So many opportunities. Rochelle, what a great vacation.
Absolutely. Tropical one indeed. Thank you, Ainsley. A woman cashed in her Mexican pesos at a bank earlier this year and was happy to exchange it for Canadian funds. But weeks later, she was told the Mexican money was worthless and the bank wanted the Canadian money back. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
They're penalizing me for their error, and I think that's very unfair.
Jose Romano of Scarborough has traveled to Mexico many times over the years. She's been saving her leftover Mexican pesos and in March decided to cash it in for Canadian funds. She gave her bank 21,000 Mexican pesos and received just over $1,400 Canadian.
I accepted it and he gave me the cash, and then I went home and I completely forgot all about it.
The Mexican peso was revalued by the Bank of Mexico in 1993, and older bills were withdrawn from circulation. Romano says while Scotiabank accepted her Mexican currency, they later contacted her to say the bills were too old and of no value.
They said the pesos are old. I had no idea if the pesos were old. How would I know? They're the bank.
Romano says the bank offered to return the Mexican pesos to her, but she said weeks had passed and she had already spent the money. But she was shocked when the bank debited her account the $1,400.
Without my knowledge or consent, they had taken the money out of my account, the full amount.
When CTV News reached out to Scotiabank, a spokesperson said if foreign banknotes are returned for some reason, for example, they're no longer in circulation, their account will be debited the Canadian dollar value of the returned foreign banknotes. Romano feels the bank should not have exchanged the Mexican currency if it had no value.
If they hadn't given it to me, I wouldn't have spent it.
After CTV News reached out to Scotiabank on Romano's behalf, she was told she would get a full refund of the $1,400, which was a major relief for her.
I want to thank you so much. I have no words to express my gratitude. I am very, very grateful. Thank you, Mr. Foran. I'm so glad.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
It's beautiful outside this morning. You can see that now as we look through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. We had just a few extra clouds this morning. They're already starting to clear. A little bit of precipitation with those clouds headed further to the east of us. We are warming up those 16 degrees now in Winnipeg and seeing similar temperatures through southern Manitoba. 12 degrees, a normal low temperature. Most places are at least there or starting to climb a little bit higher now as the sun rises higher in the sky, throwing a little more warmth our way. Even northern Manitoba is going to be feeling that warmth today. Yesterday, some of these numbers are close to where you topped out in the mid-teens, but high teens and even some low 20s are expected today with a fair bit of sunshine across northern Manitoba as well. Churchill might be seeing some precipitation. There will be a little bit rolling right along that very most northern border. Speaking of precipitation, we were watching it move off to the east of us and into northwestern Ontario, where showers or thunderstorms are now expected kind of through the morning midday. 16 degrees as we send kids off to school this hour. We're still dealing with those northeast winds, but they'll become a south wind later today as the temperatures continue to climb and the clouds continue to clear. So mainly sunny conditions into the afternoon, but another round of precipitation is possible overnight. It'll certainly be moving into southwestern Manitoba by evening time, and there's a chance that we get clipped with some overnight rain or showers. And then tomorrow, feeling the heat, Saturday as well. Sunday, a round of dayside rain that'll cool us down, and from there, those cooler temperatures will linger through the middle of next week. We're taking a break right now. We want you to linger. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live School Day Forecast is brought to you by Rainbow Stage, your season to sing.
Good morning. There are more signs the wildfire danger in Manitoba is easing. The government says it will soon lower fire and travel restrictions in many areas of the province. And joining us now with the latest on the wildfire situation is Premier Wab Kinew. Good morning, Mr. Premier.
Morning. Thanks for having me back.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Now, we do know that it is easing a little bit. What's the latest on the ground right now?
So easing, but still really serious, I think is the thing for people to keep in mind. Yesterday, the fires were acting up, and that's due to weather conditions, and so our wildfire fighters, the Office of the Fire Commissioner, everybody who's up there doing a great job, they had their hands full yesterday. That said, we are still part of like a broader trend where things are improving. We have seen some of the communities heading back, including some larger communities like Pimicikamak, but we still have many large communities like Flin Flon and Lynn Lake and Tatasqueyak that are still out for a variety of reasons. So what we're looking at the province is continuing to sort of ease up in some areas, but still underline how serious the situation is. One example I can give is that we've pulled back some of the emergency orders that we made under the state of emergency declaration. This was about getting community centers here for congregate shelters in the city of Winnipeg. And because we have fewer people here in the city now, we've pulled those back just to kind of send that sign to Manitobans. Yes, it is very serious, but we're going to try and have as light a touch as possible when it comes to asking of our fellow Manitobans to step up during this challenging period.
So part of that was the hotels, asking hotels to ease up on, you know, booking rooms because there was a need for space for evacuees.
Yeah.
You're easing up on that as well?
Well, I think the hotel industry has been great throughout. And the message that we had over the weekend is that we still had some families who needed to find rooms, and you know, the hotel industry has stepped up. We've seen the number of rooms available to evacuees increase, and so I'm very grateful that Manitobans responded. And of course, as we head into this busy travel time of year, Folk Fest, you know, Jazz Fest, these big events throughout the province, Country Fest in Dauphin. We just want to strike that right balance between making sure that we're taking care of evacuees who, you know, thousands are still out of their homes, while making sure the Manitobans still enjoy the summer. So I think it's been really great to see the cooperation and collaboration between Manitobans, making sure that we're carrying on, but also accommodating the need that's out there.
So more and more areas are opening up to people, right?
Yeah, but we still have to underline, consider Flin Flon. The wildfire there yesterday was acting up. And so with that community out of their homes, we have to recognize that there is going to still be that need to support evacuees and to carefully plan for things like the reopening of the emergency department in Flin Flon and then the eventual return home.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of those people who are slowly getting back to their either what's left of their properties, and they're finding lots of damage. Is there an effort now to sort of help people ease back into their spaces and help clean up some of that debris and damage?
Yeah, I think if we reflect on the fact it's been more than a month of wildfire in Manitoba already, that sort of responding to the need on the ground has been taking place. One example I can point to is with Lac du Bonnet. We know it was a very tragic situation there. Plus many people lost their homes as well too, which is a personal tragedy for the families with so many memories there. So again, in that local area, one of the roads had a specific need to get some permitting done quickly so that folks could travel back in safely and start the assessments and rebuilding and the cleanup and all that. So we worked with the municipal leaders to make sure that the permitting would happen quickly, and to do that on the individual level. You know, there's been thousands of people who've received those emergency stipends so that they can, you know, deal with the immediate costs that they're facing. So we'll continue to be there and step up as Manitobans return home, hopefully safely, and start the process of cleaning up and rebuilding.
Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about this memorandum of understanding that you just penned with Ukraine. Tell us what that's going to look like and why it's important to do this.
Yeah, so what it's going to look like is there's a specific region in Ukraine, Kherson, which is right on the front lines. It's right next to Crimea. A huge part of the traditional Kherson territory is under Russian occupation right now. So we're standing up as Manitobans and saying, you know what? We can help with our expertise in Manitoba Hydro. We can help with our expertise in agriculture and a bunch of other areas, education, healthcare, things like that. So we're working together with them. We've signed this document. We've struck a task force. If we can send them hydro equipment that can help, we're going to do that. If we can send them engineering expertise from hydro, we'll do that too. They're asking about the seed varieties that we have in our ag sector here in Manitoba, because this is an ag region of Ukraine. Manitoba and Ukraine are both the bread baskets of our parts of the world. So we're just looking to work together. And then in terms of the why, we've heard the stories of Manitobans who've stepped up. There's a huge Ukrainian presence here, Ukrainian culture, but we've also had people who've gone overseas to fight on the front lines as Manitobans. Some of them have given their lives, others have been injured. All of them have shed blood, sweat, and tears. And I just want them and their family members to know that your government is doing what it takes to make sure that that sacrifice you made is part of a victory, a noble victory for Ukraine. So there's ways we can help, and that's what this deal's all about.
Okay, let's lighten it a little bit.
Yeah.
Our question of the day today is, what song defines summer for you? Because this is the last day of spring, summer is here tomorrow.
Here's flying by.
I know.
Yeah.
So what song is it that it triggers, oh, summer's here for you?
You know, I really like Zach Bryan. So he's got a song called American Nights, and yeah, that's a definite summer jam.
Well, there you go. Now you know. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Premier, for joining us. And again, if you want to listen to that song, I'm sure you can find it. Thank you so much.
Right on.
Yeah, it is feeling like summer already too, with the sun shining over me and starting to beat down, especially it's out from behind the clouds that were hanging around earlier on this morning, and the clouds will continue to clear throughout the day today. It's 16 degrees right now. East-northeast winds 9 kilometers per hour, the pressure falling, and that humidity sitting at 78%. And yeah, get the sunglasses out today. You're certainly going to need them. And a slather up with the sunscreen. Of course, all of the sun smarts required, because through most of the province today, increasing amounts of sunshine, and we will be feeling the heat today, mid-20s here in the south. And for northern Manitoba, who yesterday topped out with the slightly cooler temperatures in the mid-teens, today high teens and even some low 20s across northern Manitoba. Clear conditions are expected in most places. The very most northern border up around Churchill, you might see some precipitation. And east of us, some precipition, showers and thunderstorms have been headed to northwestern Ontario. But another round of rain could be coming for us tonight, moving into the southwest around evening time, just after supper time or early evening, and possibly overnight, getting close to Winnipeg. There's a slim chance that we could see some of that precipitation. It will be rolling through parts of southern Manitoba in the overnight hours, but then clearing out again tomorrow. We'll have the sunshine back and even more heat for tomorrow. Today, 24 degrees, which is normal for this time of year, but then it gets even hotter for the next couple of days. And there was some rain yesterday that ended off with a beautiful rainbow shining over the farm equipment in Notre Dame de Lourdes. Thanks to Diane for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
The Winnipeg Sea Bears season continues, and we want you to be a part of the action. The Sea Bears will hit the court against the Scarborough Shooting Stars on June 27th. So if you want to be in the stands, we've got the contest for you. CTV Morning Live is giving away a family pack of 4 tickets to give away to the game. Head over to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and hit our contest page for all the entry details. Don't miss your shot.
Canada's benchmark stock index, the S&P TSX Composite, rose slightly yesterday and will begin today's trading day at 26,559 points. It's now up almost 7.5% so far this year. U.S. stock markets were mixed yesterday, and futures contracts on the 3 main U.S. stock indices were lower this morning. There is more evidence that U.S. trade tariffs on the automobile sector will mean significant price increases to U.S. consumers. Alex Partners, a consulting firm, says the price of a U.S. vehicle would rise by $1,760 per vehicle under the 25% tariff now in place. It also predicts that higher prices will result in about 1 million fewer cars being sold over the next 3 years. And the price of crude oil moved higher again today as oil traders wonder if the conflict between Israel and Iran will worsen. The price of West Texas Intermediate crude oil traded in New York this morning was $76.20 U.S. per barrel. From the BNN Bloomberg Newsroom in Toronto, I'm Paul Bagnall.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
The planetarium at the Manitoba Museum has a brand new show. It's called Wilfred Buck's Star Stories, and the film shares and preserves the oral stories and legends of the skies and stars told by the First Nations people of Manitoba. Joining us now is Cree writer, educator, and expert on Indigenous star knowledge, Wilfred Buck. Good morning, Wilfred.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you were wearing the Star People hat. You've been talking about the stars for a long, long time. How did you grow up learning about the stars, the constellations?
Well, initially, from a Pascal Cree Nation living on the banks of the Saskatchewan River, I was born in the fall, so the fall time is a special time for me. And I remember laying outside at night on the banks of the river, just basically looking at the stars and being mesmerized, and having so much going through my head in regard to that.
And there are so many oral stories that you collected from some of your elders in your life. Tell us about some of the cool stories about what we see in the sky.
There's so many fascinating stories, and it's all connected not only to the sky, but it's connected to our reality, and it's connected to concepts of who we are and where we come from.
And so you've been telling these stories for years, and now you have preserved them in this video that was created for the planetarium. Tell us, you worked on it for about 8 to 9 months last year. It premiered in Berlin. Tell us what that experience was like.
Oh, that we went to Berlin for a world premiere of the video, and it was amazing. Like, it was very surreal because I was walking around the streets that I'd seen on movies that I heard so much about, and of course associated with World War II and all that entailed, and it was pretty moving to do that.
Now, your goal is to preserve these stories, these oral histories, these stories about what we see in the sky. Do you feel that you've accomplished that with this planetarium film?
Well, the goal isn't initially to preserve these stories, but rather to expose them to a wider audience and to let, especially our young people, that have been exposed to the Western educational system, and the Western education system is based on Roman Greek mythology. So they hear about the stars like Orion, like Ursa Major, Ursa Minor. They hear about all this stuff, but they never hear from any other perspectives. And just have people aware that there are other perspectives out there, and these perspectives that are out there pertain to a lot of the concepts that science talks about now, like particle theory, like quantum theory, like Newtonian physics. And people contemplated these ideas, and so these are not new concepts.
This is fascinating. So the show is going to be seen. It's called Wilfred Buck's Star Stories. It's going to show every day this summer at the planetarium. What do you want people to know about why they should check this out?
They should check it out because it's an awesome bit of work, and it gives you another perspective in regard to the sky. And one of the methodologies that my people pursued and I looked after is in regard to coming to knowledge, was that we'd had to broaden our perspectives, and we had to have more people included, and more ideas and more concepts and more situations. And so this is part of the methodological process, is that the more we widen our view, the more knowledge we gain.
That is incredible. And again, this is airing at the planetarium. It starts on June 28th. It's going to show every single day this summer, so you'll want to check it out. Wilfred, thank you and congratulations.
No, thank you very much. Thanks for having me here, Rachel.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating. Okay, outside this morning, it's a beautiful start to your Thursday. It's 16 degrees right now, with winds starting to shift ever so slightly out of the east-northeast now, 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 78%. The clouds are clearing. We were watching earlier them pushing the precipitation off to the east of us, where showers, maybe thunderstorms, could still be expected through parts of northwestern Ontario, but most of Manitoba now in the clear through most of the day. Or at least increasing amounts of sunshine as the last of the clouds clear out. 24 degrees is where we're headed today. That is bang on seasonal, so nothing wrong with those temperatures. And the winds, which are out of the northeast right now, will be shifting out of the south for later on today. Still staying on the lighter side, only about 15 kilometers per hour. And then temperatures falling off overnight to about 15 degrees, which keeps us slightly above seasonal. There is a chance, now it's a slim chance, but there's a chance of some showers, maybe some thunderstorms, a better chance that you'll be seeing them through southwestern Manitoba this evening, but parts of the south will be getting clipped with that activity overnight. And east winds on the lighter side overnight will shift out of the south for tomorrow. Tomorrow, a little more heat is expected and a mix of sun and cloud. And that heat, in fact, will be lingering into the start of the weekend on Saturday. Again, the possibility of some overnight precipitation into Saturday, but clearing through the day. But then dayside precipitation could bring some slightly cooler temperatures. And that's, this scared me. I was like, where are we? Where are we? Oh, the horses. Oh, look at that. The Clydesdales, the working horses down at Assiniboine Park Zoo. Yeah, head on down there. What a beautiful day for it. Pack your hat, your sunscreen, and an extra bottle of water. Then have some fun feeding the horses.
Thank you, Terry. Nearly 100 wildfire-related charges and dozens of warnings have been handed out by the province. In the latest wildfire update Thursday, the province says since May 1st, 93 charges have been laid and 31 warnings given out. The province did not elaborate on specifically what the charges were for. Manitoba's state of emergency remains in effect until June 26th. Some positive news. The province says it is no longer needing all of the emergency shelters set up for wildfire evacuees. Operations are paused at Century Arena, Eric Coy Arena, and Red River College in Winnipeg, as well as the Portage La Prairie site. It's because most evacuees are now in hotels. Winnipeg's Leela Soccer Complex shelter and the Billy Mosienko Arena's 24-hour reception center remain open. The shelters were first set up with the Canadian Red Cross in late May when wildfire evacuations began. Close encounters of the wrong kind, near misses between vehicles and pedestrians or cyclists are on the rise, according to a new report from CAA.
So if they would have actually happened and if they would have been a collision, they could have resulted in serious injury or death.
In an effort to improve road safety for all users, CAA monitored 20 intersections across Canadian cities, including Winnipeg. Nationally, over 7 months, it recorded close to 617,000 conflicts between pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles. That means 1 out of every 770 pedestrians and 1 in every 500 cyclists experienced a high risk or critical near miss with a vehicle. CAA says to reduce these near misses, cities could add separated right turning lanes, which slows down drivers, as well as giving left turning vehicles a dedicated green light before bikes and pedestrians. Another recommendation is installing leading signals, giving pedestrians a 5-second head start into an intersection, which the city recently did downtown.
We're doing a lot of traffic calming. We're looking at reducing, I'm looking at reducing the speed in residential neighborhoods. The city's done a pilot on it.
Winnipeg, St. Matthews and Wall Street was reviewed using an existing traffic count camera. CAA says this location was chosen because of the technological capabilities and not based on collision data. Councillor Janice Luke says the city brought forward a road safety strategy 3 years ago, and it is working on 67 action items. Manitoba's population continues to climb, and for the first time in more than 20 years, Statistics Canada says our province saw its first net gain from interprovincial migration. Data from the first quarter of 2025 shows 106 more Canadians now call Manitoba home. StatsCan says it's the first time that's happened since 2004. Overall, Manitoba's population continues to climb, growing by more than 21,000 since this time last year to around 1,507,000 people. It's the time of year when many families take a break and get away for a while, but when the trip ends, returning to reality can be hard. CNN's Mandy Gaither has more on how to beat the post-vacation blues.
Taking a break can be relaxing and rejuvenating, but the end of vacation can bring on the blues.
We might be having a great time and then we come back to reality and then, we're back to the grind.
Psychologist Rachel Gableman with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says there can be a sadness as you return to a regular routine. You may be faced with loads of laundry or stacks of work and feel like there's no longer a trip to look forward to.
It can just feel like, oh, why did I bother maybe taking that vacation? At all.
But Gableman says taking time off is good for our well-being, and you can beat the post-vacation blues by setting yourself up for success before you leave. Clean your house, stock your freezer and pantry so you don't have to clean and shop for groceries as soon as you return from vacation. When planning your trip, set aside a day when you get back so that you can reset before returning to work. And while you're on that trip, live in the moment. Let yourself enjoy the time you do have off instead of thinking about having to go back home. Finally, when you do go back home, she says start planning your next vacation, even if it's just a staycation or weekend getaway.
We, as humans, really like to look forward to things. It is something that might reduce our stress and help us to keep going.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Here's a look now what's happening in traffic at Confusion Corner. Things over here are moving quite well. No issues to tell you about. If you see any problems out there, though, please let us know. And here's a look now at your gas prices. Winnipeg is sitting below the national average today. The city's average is just over $1.33. Across Manitoba, the average is about $1.32, while the national average is slightly higher at around $1.38.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
And here are some of the comments on our question of the day. We want to know what song screams summer to you. And Susan says, Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. That is a good one. Thank you, Susan. Kelly says, Steal My Sunshine by Len. It's the best summer song. And Sharon says, Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who is live this morning at the Assiniboine Park Zoo. There's so much going on there for the entire family, and you're having lots of fun, Ainsley.
Well, Rochelle, I actually just asked Danny to take a photograph of me, and as it's happening, our horse friend here is sprouting out some of its breakfast, which made for a great photo, but maybe I might have some in the back of my hair here. Who are we joined by, Danny?
Yeah, so these are our two new Shire horses that came to the zoo. This is Willow behind us, and this is her half-brother, Willie. They are both 7 years old, and they came from a farm in Manitoba, and it's just been so much fun. We have the two other Percheron horses, Flame and Rival, and they're just fitting in super well, just having a good old horsey time, you know?
When you talk about some of the newer animals as well, the variety is, extensive. So maybe tell us who we can expect to see.
Absolutely. There are so many new animals, big, small, and in between. We've got like Emerald. She's a brand new muskox that we have in our journey to Churchill. You can go over there, or you can head over to Toucan Ridge. We have a new lemurs from Toronto. We have Simon, the sulfur-crested cockatoo. He's super sweet. And then we've got the new red pandas. Oh, but the big deal a few weeks ago was getting a new pack of gray wolves from Vancouver. So we've got wolves, muskoxes, a new yak named Louise. We've got new owl named Julia, and new guanacos, cobbin peaches. Like, there's so much to discover and so much to learn, and it's been such a wonderful experience being able to share so much about all these different animals from around the world, so people can come to the zoo, have some fun, interact, and learn a little bit more about the world around them.
And each person is going to take an individual thing out of it, right? We're all going to come and go, oh, I remember that fun fact. Which one stands out for you?
You know, the one that sticks out for me right now is the guanacos. I just thought they were super interesting. Their names are cobbin peaches. They're from a zoo in Eastern Canada. They have so many red blood cells. I think it was like 64 million. I'm just throwing out a big word because they're normally found in South America, but like very high up. They can exceed altitudes of 4,000 meters above sea level. And they're more related to like alpacas and llamas in the camelid family. And they have just stolen my heart. They are just so sweet. And so they are in our open range near the pronghorns, which are also super cool. They are more, it's interesting because they're from South America and the pronghorns are more native to North America. So it's just a fun blend of all these wonderful, unique animals.
Thank you so much. My favorite was the sloth not moving and collecting algae.
Yes. That was
incredible.
Super cool, indeed. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's a beautiful start to the day, Terry.
You're right about that.
How's it feeling?
It feels so good. I think my plants are feeling a little better. I just gave them a nice little drink because yesterday there was some precipitation, and I'll tell you this, so how I know. So for anybody that follows me on Instagram, you know I was out in Gimli yesterday. I mentioned it earlier this morning. I was there for work, and a beautiful drive up and met some new friends up there, and they were like, "Where's the rain, Terry?" It rained on me on the drive up because I was driving with the top down and suddenly had to stop and put my top up because the rain poured down on me on my drive, not on the way home, top down all the way. It was beautiful, but it did rain a little bit in some places. But my rain gauge here downtown, completely dry. Now, even over my patio, just a few blocks away, I got some rain there yesterday, but nothing here. So anyway, we will be seeing a little bit of precipitation possibly overnight, but it's a slim chance. So just to make sure that they're staying hydrated, I gave them a little bit of a drink this morning. Now, as far as the conditions go today, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be warm. Northwestern Ontario might still see some showers or thunderstorms, but most of Manitoba, hot and dry today. Mid-20s here in the south, high teens and low 20s across northern Manitoba. Now, by evening time, southwestern Manitoba, likely to get some showers and precipitation, and then like I said, a slim chance that could roll over us tonight. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, where size does matter.
Good morning, it's 8:45. A day after India's Prime Minister and Prime Minister Mark Carney agreed to restore diplomatic ties, a new intelligence report is accusing India of foreign interference. Here's CTV's Abigail Bidman.
Great honor to host you at the G7.
A G7 meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi as Canada's spy agency lists India as one of the main perpetrators of foreign interference and espionage in its newly released annual report. CSIS called links between the government of India and the 2023 murder of 6 separatist activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar a significant escalation in India's repression efforts against the Khalistan movement and a clear intent to target individuals in North America.
We condemn any interference by foreign actors in Canada. The RCMP, as you're aware, is completing its ongoing investigation.
The report calls on Canada to remain vigilant about continued foreign interference by India in ethnic, religious, and cultural communities, as well as Canada's political system.
The level of trust will take years to rebuild, but it has to start.
I think it was premature.
This former CSIS intelligence officer says the move to restore top diplomats in both countries is important, but the timing sent mixed signals.
On the one hand, we're taking transnational repression seriously. At the second hand, we're inviting people over, putting them on the red carpet, and making it look as though all's fine and wonderful.
Until there's accountability and a commitment to actually work with Canadian law enforcement with these ongoing investigations and not to do it anymore, I think any dialogue is premature.
The CSIS report also notes Canadian, American, and British spy agencies agree never in our combined histories have we faced national security threats overall of such magnitude simultaneously.
A recent Ipsos poll found there are still many stigmas and misconceptions about people with intellectual disabilities. The study, which was commissioned by Special Olympics Canada, found that 20% of those polled believe that people with intellectual disabilities could have negative effects at work or school. Only 62% of those polled disagreed, meaning many still don't understand or believe in inclusion in this country. Special Olympics Canada is working to break that stereotype and change people's opinions with a special campaign and fundraising efforts. One of the campaign's Special Olympics ambassadors is from Oakbank right here in Manitoba. Joining us now, our Special Olympics ambassador, 10-year-old Oliver Vaughn, and his mom, Amy. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning to you as well.
Hi, Oliver.
Hi.
How does it feel being an ambassador for Special Olympics Canada?
It feels really great. I feel like it's spreading the word. I feel like people are making more donations now. I also really enjoy it.
And you love playing sports as well. You're in a program right now with Special Olympics Canada that you're able to sort of try a lot of different sports at the same time. Tell us about what sports you're involved in.
So, Special Olympics fundamentals, it teaches us the fundamentals of sports. So we play like soccer, basketball, and sometimes we play tennis.
Okay. And you like basketball a lot, but you also like bocce ball, I understand.
Yes, I do. I'm actually not sure. I kind of just like shooting the ball. I kind of just like throwing balls.
Mom, when you hear about this report, this Ipsos report, does it frustrate you?
Absolutely, it does. There is just so much stigma around intellectual disabilities, and people get this impression in their mind that it's like this and all kids are like this, and it's not like that. These kids are amazing, they're wonderful, they have so much to contribute to school, workplaces, society in general. Right, Oliver?
Right.
Right. Like Oliver always says, they're more alike than different. And for Oliver at school, like he just needs minor accommodations and he does everything the other kids do. But sometimes, you know, it's just at school the other day, there was jokes circulating about autistic kids, and it's frustrating that we're still there, that they can't see the value in these children.
And there's so much value.
So much.
And Special Olympics Canada celebrates that. And you want people to know about the Fundamentals program, because a lot of people, when they think Special Olympics, they think right away they're competing, but not necessarily the younger kids get to sort of train in all of the sports and learn a little bit about that, right, Oliver?
Right.
Which is fun. Okay, so your face is going to be in all these different stores because there's a special campaign happening now as well. Tell us about that.
So I got chosen to be the child ambassador for Special Olympics. So we went around all different Sobeys stores.
Yeah.
We gave out a bunch of bracelets and flags. And we got people to donate.
And those donations go to support other athletes like you. It feels pretty good being a part of that, right?
Yes.
So if people want to help out this cause, where can they find it? What stores?
Sobeys, Safeway, IGA, and participating co-ops.
There you go. So if you want more information, that's where you go, where you can provide some donations, some much needed funds. Good job, Oliver. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Oliver. We see you. We see your value. We appreciate you coming down to CTV today. Thank you for that. Probably got to go back to school now, but what a great way to spend the morning. All right, it's 16 degrees, east-northeast winds, 9 clicks, the pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 78%. It's a beautiful start to your morning. It's going to be a warm one, though, although warm, seasonal, and sunny today, too. The last of these clouds clearing out northwestern Ontario. You're still in the path of those showers and thunderstorms, but we could find ourselves in the path of showers and thunderstorms this evening. Parts of the southwest will begin to see it by evening time, and we have a chance of seeing it overnight here in Winnipeg. But daytime, 24 degrees. That's normal for this time of year, and we're going to spend the day with plenty of sunshine over us. Tomorrow, sunshine back again and even more heat. In fact, we'll be feeling that right on into the weekend on Saturday. Then we get a little bit of a break and perhaps some daytime precipitation. Sunday, the chance of showers, thunderstorms, slightly cooler temperatures, which will linger right through the middle of next week. We're taking a break right now, but stick around. We'll be coming back in just a moment with more CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center.
Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
All right, Terry, let's wrap up this Thursday show with some fun video. We kick things off with a cat doing the cattiest thing ever. If it fits, it sits. This little boy fell off his scooter, and as he was lying there, this little kitty came up to him and sat down. Instead of crying, the little boy couldn't stop laughing at the situation. Looks like he has a new pet at home. How sweet. Now to a feathered flock that's gobbling up the spotlight. Every time that trumpet sounds, the turkeys sing in unison. The gobbling group adds to the music while making the musician laugh after every note. Now we need Terry's version. Do it.
But is that not like baby laughter? You can't help but laugh.
You just
or
go
gobble.
along with it. And lastly, from cacophony to quiet. Sounds delicious.
An anteater.
Yeah, listen as King Bummy, the giant anteater, slurps and sniffs his snack with his long snout. His Highness is celebrating his 4th birthday this week in style at the North Florida Wildlife Center with lots of food and fun.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, he's unique looking.
Nice snack.
That does it for us. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.